Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker, what you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way. Close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
James over there. I'm John on a Wednesday. Final day of the week. We're in studio on the road at Legends in Franklin for the Fan golf outing presented by Franciscan Health coming up tomorrow. 10:30 is when we tee off for the first time, and a shotgun start coming up tomorrow. Ted Bishop hosting us. Ted, thank you very much. A lot of notables, including voice of the Hoosiers, Don Fisher, Chris Denary. I believe Tucker Barnhart, Drew Story is going to be there. And I cannot wait to see you guys. My guy Carlton is setting up the basketball goal. I talked to him a little bit earlier today. And we're going to be good. I think he ideally wants to go on that first tee box. So you guys fly by and we'll have a shoot off of some sort. I don't know if we have prizes yet. I guess I'll find out when we get there. It doesn't really matter. It's not like you guys are going to win anyway. But if we do have prizes, there's at least a chance, I guess. If the wind's blowing, maybe if my elbow is all tight, who knows? But I cannot wait to see tomorrow. All three shows will be there live doing their thing. The Fan Morning Show, 7 until 10 a.m. coming up tomorrow morning. I know Kevin Bowen, who's going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour, will be in a tee box and be hitting tee shots against folks. I was talking to James Boyd hooping last night. Does he have golf? I don't even know if he has golf clubs. I guess he does. Or is he like Chris Hagan? Anywhere Chris Hagan goes to play golf in a golf outing, he has to borrow mine. Anybody have a friend like that? Hey, can I borrow your golf clubs? I'm at a golf outing. And they come back, they got dirt and mud and crap all over them. Shout out to Chris Hagan. But tomorrow we got Query and Company at noon. Of course, Jake and his show, noon until 3 tomorrow. Then I'll be doing my thing tomorrow from 3 until 6 at Legends in Franklin. I know it's a little bit different because usually this thing falls in the month of August. But I think it's really cool. I love it. I really like it. I like it because we are ushering in the month of May. Cars are on the track. I heard that Al Enser Jr. a little bit earlier on with Jake. I thought that was awesome. I love hearing the voices, especially those of former champions. That's pretty cool. But tomorrow is going to be fun. Tomorrow, Legends in Franklin, the shop in Carmel. Coming up on Friday. All of their month of May, their 500 gear is going to be there for you. Now, with the exception of the JMV Sucks 2026 Carb Day t-shirt, which will be unveiled, debuted on Carb Day 2026, May the 22nd on Carb Day. That is when it will debut, but everything else is going to be up there. Connor Daly is going to join. I don't know if he's going to be there in time on Friday off of Rangeline Road to join the show or not, but certainly he's going to be there signing autographs. I'm kind of the opening act of Connor Daly. That's just me. So in terms of my first concert was Quiet Riot, and Nazareth opened up for Quiet Riot. So I'll perform Love Hurts about 3 times and then exit, and Connor will come in, and you guys will be really interested in what he's doing. He'll play Come On, Feel the Noise. But Thursday and Friday should be great. I promise you a great time at both. Just make sure you come out and you join us. We have to adjust, don't we? We just have to get used to things. And this crosses my mind. With the younger generation, I'm not so sure, but you guys could tell me. I think I understand how the older generation feels. I'm 56. I don't act like I'm of the older generation, but I guess age-wise, I am. Is it age 50 when you can become an AARP? Remember, they send me stuff in the mail all the time. I'm thinking, hey, what do you guys think? I'm 56 or something here? I know you don't act like it, but you are. However, there are certain things we have to get used to. And we've gotten used to a lot, especially over the past 10 years. There's a ton, especially in the way that we consume our sports, right? That we've had to get used to. And we have another one that is on the horizon. And up next is going to be, I'm really curious because I want to say, hey, this is for the money and this is bull crap. The NCAA is trying their damnedest not to turn into a version of the NIT tournament. We got to make sure we're going to try to keep everybody happy. Nobody's happy, but we're going to try to keep everybody at least this level of unhappy, I guess. Like, nobody's happy. Nobody's ever happy, but we're going to try to keep this. We're going to try to keep this alive and going. So the final steps are right now on the move to expand the men's and women's basketball tournament to 76. I sit here before you, and I don't think it's necessary. However, I don't think it's massively detrimental either. Can I say that I'm indifferent? Can I say that I think it's stupid because who gives a damn? We knew those that were in the tournament going back to March, there were really no hardcore discussions. So what does this put IU in the tournament now every year? 76 teams. What they should say is, in honor of the 1976 Hoosiers, the last unbeaten NCAA championship team, we are going to factor in 76. But it's not anything profound like that. It's all about the money. It's all about the saving of face and really living to fight another day. Because one of these days, we're going to see things massively different than just this. Aren't we? One of these days, we're going to see it differently. And much like anything else, much like prices, no matter who is in office, no matter which side is here, we're still going to be paying more for crackers if you're buying crackers or gas if you're buying gas. What happens is we ultimately soak ourselves into it and get used to it. We do. And it's easier for people like me because I like basketball. It's not like I'm going to be hardcore focused in on it. It's not like all of a sudden this is going to get Indiana State even more of a fighting chance. This is for the power conferences. This is to make sure that you get all of them in. You're going to keep everybody happy that generates the revenue. Shout out to my friends over in Terre Haute and Indiana State, and I love them, you know that. But they generate about as much as in my wallet right now. So that's just the way that it is. They're not going to be beneficial for any mid-majors out there. So much is playing against the mid-majors. Most of these mid-majors now, in terms of basketball, are going to have maybe 1 year. It'll be like that 1 year, 2 years ago of Indiana State when everything clicked with Josh Schertz and everything clicked with their starting five, and they were still on the outside looking in. But that would have been beneficial for them, I would guess, that year, if they wouldn't have, selected Stanford and Arizona State and California and a bunch of schools that really do suck, but get the offer anyway because they're power conference schools. But this is what it's all about. And for me sitting here and shaking my fist and being pissed about it, we can, right? I think what it does, it separates us generationally speaking. The older folks like me are going to say, I can't believe this. This is ridiculous. We don't need this. But as an end result, as was the mantra in the incredibly popular 1979 Bill Murray Classic, Meatballs, it just doesn't matter. Because it just doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter either way. Right, you're doing things either way. You're not really fixing anything. What you're doing, you're setting the table in hopes to hang around and to be around and not have a break off of power conferences. And the power conferences just do what the power conferences want to do, and everybody else can be a part of the NIT. Which that's what would happen if that were to take place, and the NCAA would have it. It'd be like the NIT. It's the way it would be. So you're just trying to maintain. You're trying to maintain while also you're going to charge even more for the rights to carry and to cover this. And it's going to be more than what we have seen. It's like weird, right? Watching the national championship game on TNT and TBS and True TV when it used to be on CBS. It's going to change even more dramatically to that, although I will say that Turner is in need of the programming, so they're probably going to be a hot spot without the NBA. And I massively miss the NBA on Turner. And I know that you can get inside the NBA on ESPN, and it just doesn't feel the same. It's like when they reopened McCree's Deli in Bloomington, and you went from over at Jackson Creek and you took it downtown to the depot. I respected the effort, and you were trying to stir the echoes of a place that I absolutely love, but I'll be damned, it was not nearly the same. It's not the same. None of this is going to be the same. You wait one of these days further down the road. Remember when I told you years ago that one of these days everything's going to be pay-per-view? We are working hard. We're working our damnedest to be in that category at some point here, aren't we? I mean hard. You're going to have 9,000 different subscriptions. Everybody that told me to cut the cord is going to be better. You probably wish you still had the cord, but you also have all these other subscriptions that you're paying for, and that's what we're going to be doing one of these days. All of it to watch this. I mean, 76, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. It's silly. Other than it's going to generate more revenue and save a little face and try to continue a sustainability for the NCAA having this tournament and not a breakaway and a break-off. The expansion, which has been discussed for well over a year, is on track to be formalized in the upcoming weeks, according to Pete Thamel of ESPN.com. Sources indicated mid-May as a potential timeline for any sort of massive announcement. Massive announcement. It's all for the money, too. Money's a big role player in this. We know that to be true. There still are steps to take in terms of approvals, according to Thamel, via various NCAA committees. You know, the committees are the best. There's nothing worse than committee. I've said this before, there's really only one all-time favorable committee. And anybody that was ever 15 years of age, you know exactly what committee that is. That's it. All the other committees suck. Seriously, all of them. Have you ever been a part of a committee that didn't suck? Have you ever presided over a committee that didn't suck? Have you ever at least noticed from the outside looking in a committee that didn't? They all suck. They just do. Once the contracts are completed, the NCAA also would need approval from various committees. Again, that include the men's and women's basketball committees, the men's and women's basketball oversight committees, and the Division I cabinet and the Division I board of governors. No wonder we're all so blanked up. All these committees and boards and cabinets, we're all screwed. So, again, instead of arguing about it, instead of being mad about it, or, and it'd be really easy to shake the fist, hey, this is why I'm angry. Here's the problem. If I'm angry and then I set the pace in that tone, I'm going to look incredibly hypocritical when I say, hey, I'm watching all this because I love basketball. Well, that doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? Nah. So here we are. Quote, expanding the basketball tournaments would require approval from multiple NCAA committees, including the men's and women's basketball committees, and no final recommendations or decisions have been made at this time. That, according to a statement from the NCAA. The expansion isn't expected to be a financial windfall for the NCAA and its members, but sources stressed there would be a profit. Well, of course, they're not going to say, hey, we're making an ass load of money, everybody. Woo! I got this ass load of money. No, they are going to have a profit, of course. Where would the motivation be without it? You want to keep it, and you want to profit from it. I love it. Yeah, again, for me, just keep on playing basketball. You ask me this all the time, and it is one hellaciously awesome question. JMV, when do they run you off? I know. With my age demographic, they're trying to run me off, but damn straight, they haven't done it yet. I don't know if they're going to do it. I'm sure the clock is ticking on me anyway, so I will be gone by that time. G called me today, James, insightful about the plot that I have at the Owensburg Cemetery. I really don't give a damn where I end up.
You've already got your own plot set and everything?
Well, she presides over the Owensburg Cemetery. You talk about something that would make either an incredibly good, well-written sitcom or a hillbilly dynasty type of nighttime drama. There it is. I should write a script on that alone right there.
Oh, you should.
If I felt like writing or reading anything, then I would write a script. The Owensburg Cemetery. My plot. And I've said before, it doesn't really matter to me. I can't. I've seen way too many horror movies to really want to be underground or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't want to come back as a zombie?
Well, and then I don't know if I trust everybody out there one of these days not to forget where it is and then dig me up. Wait a minute. We got the coordinates wrong here. We just dug JMV's ass up. Well, there he is.
People are going to be leaving tuna and cottage cheese at your gravestone.
Hey, he was right about that. They did use little instruments in his kidney surgery. I can't stand the thought of that. Whenever that may be. Nah, but a true story, this doesn't bug me probably as much as a lot of people would guess. Because it does water it down, but I think you're still going to get a lot of the same results. And there's so much other stuff going on that we have to get used to. Like, I'll back burner this one. I'm going to get to the NBA draft lottery in a second, and I'm not really going to be pissed about that. And the reason why is I don't want to see the Pacers a part of this ever again. I don't want to see them ever in this situation again. This situation has sucked because we had to watch bad losing basketball after the most incredible season we have ever seen with the Pacers. And we had to live through this 19-win season. I never want to see that again. I never want them to be a part of it unless they're like OKC and, you're savvy enough to put yourself in position while still winning championships, to be in the draft lottery. That is really the only window in which I want to see because this whole process sucks too. And they're never going to find common ground. This whole thing, and we'll get into this. I'm going to ask Chad Buchanan. I don't know how in depth he's going to be able to go because I'm going to be like laughing right after I ask the questions about how stupid this whole thing is. The product is as such, if you're bad and you know you're going to be bad, how is there ever going to be anything in terms of losing that doesn't give you a chance to get better? So, now, for example, and I'll get into this in full detail a little bit later on. I'll give you the thumbnail sketch of it. Now, they're trying to dissuade teams from doing the tanking thing. But if you're the coach or the head of an organization and you want to try to position yourself the best as possible, You're going to find a way around this. You find a way around and it just, this doesn't really benefit. You're going to see this work out for those that win. And I'm going to tell you who it's going to work out for. It's going to work out for teams on the larger markets like the Lakers, like the Celtics, those that really don't need the help, like the Knicks. You watch how this works out. And not right now, because all three are firmly embedded into the postseason. But one of these days, that's exactly how this is going to work out. This is just, to me, it looks like a hastily cobbled together piece of work from Adam Silver and company to just squash everybody from complaining. I got news for you. Nobody was really going to continue to complain, but they keep it going. They have the ridiculous fine. I'm just using the Pacers for an example. The ridiculous $100,000 fine for the Pacers. And then you have Rick Carlisle, who came on this station with the morning show that suggested what took place behind the scenes. But you guys got to be on the same page a little bit better than that. I don't trust they're on the same page with it. It's silly. It is really, I don't know any other way to get around it. And maybe it does water down or make your product look worse. You have to find, I think, other means. I have said this, and this is easy for me to say with the postseason. Yeah, I was watching last night, too. The Sixers got a win on the road. Impressive. So I would guess that works against my argument yesterday about the first round of the NBA postseason a little bit. But all in all, I still say this postseason, with the games that everybody looks at as, hey, this is just great for the league. Look what Orlando is doing. But you look at that game, and I put under the microscope the game the other day on Sunday between the Cavaliers and the Raptors. It's just bad basketball. Bad basketball. I just don't think the ways and the means, when you give, the 12-hole in the NBA an equal shot at, what the fourth losingest team in the NBA has, that doesn't seem credible to me. It doesn't seem like a good choice. To me, it just seems like, hey, everybody's yelling about this. Hey, look what Bill Simmons had to say. Oh, hell, we better go ahead and change this up and change it up dramatically right now. We better offer up a lot of words, a lot of paragraphs and a lot of words. I don't know how that's going to work. Full detail, we'll do that. Maybe a little bit of that. And speaking of the draft lottery, again, this is the last that I really around here want to hear about it and pay attention to it. From here until a week from Sunday on Mother's Day. And then let's put this bad boy to bed. Let's put the draft lottery around here to bed. They can take my plot in the Orangeburg Cemetery. Put it to bed, for real. I never want to talk about it again. It's awful. This has been terrible, and we try to make some enjoyable conversation and content out of it, but there's really nothing enjoyable, and it's going to become even less enjoyable if the Pacers don't end up with 1 through 4 and have to surrender that to the Clippers after 1 through 4. It's going to be even worse. And we may not talk about it because Zubats is coming in, and I know everybody's excited about that, and you should be excited about that. But you go through a season like this to get to the end result to be able to replenish with a high lottery selection. And if you don't have that, it simply put, as I say in a promo from last week, it is not going to be the same. It can't be the same. We'll talk about the lottery. We'll talk about some of the likes and dislikes of it. We'll talk about the Pacers moving forward, Tyrese Halliburton, this team that I love, the pace of play. As Larry Bird, I quote him all the time as saying, stuff like it. Which in Southern Indiana translation, because I'm a translator from Southern Indiana, means I like shooting, passing, and dribbling, and stuff like it. One of the greatest quotes of all. I just can't find it anywhere. One of the greatest quotes of all time. I think it was an Indiana State quote. Maybe THI in Terre Haute, the CBS affiliate, has that. But, man, one of the greatest quotes of all time. I like shooting, passing, and dribbling, and stuff like it. Love it. All right, we got that. We got the NBA from last night. Ellie De La Cruz putting honor, putting integrity, and putting the star back in the number 44 in a Red Legs uniform. You know this to be true. One of my all-time favorite players would be ED, would be Eric the Red. 44 Magnum. Eric Davis. Ellie De La Cruz has had one incredible start to the season. Now, we've been down this path with my Reds before. They can give you a month or two and make you feel good. And then, I just wanted to use this word in terms of this, James, and then peter out at the end. I do not want to see any petering. No. No petering. Ellie De La Cruz. What a month of April. Got that coming up. Kevin Bowen, bottom of the hour. He was a Colts draft selection, and they have been really good with middle round offensive linemen. 5 o'clock hour. Jaylen Farmer is going to join this show. Caden Curry's tomorrow. Jaylen Farmer a little bit later on. Pat Boyland, the Fever, a little content there with both the Fever and the Pacers from Pat at 4:30. And his name is Chad Buchanan, the Pacer general manager, is going to join us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. You guys are good to go. The stream, the app, HD Radio. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Hey, you can tell everybody is going on the road coming up tomorrow, James, because the reads have been taken out of here. Can you tell? Hensley Legal Group Command Center is this location. It happens. Hire Hensley. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Matt Goins, give him a call and say, Matt, I want your support on the open road for my summertime vacation. Give me AAA membership. You can do that yourself as well, AAA.com, or download that to your smartphone, hit the button, and you're off and you're running. AAA.com, that is YouTube Live, the AAA Membership Lounge, at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hey, JMV here for Big Red Liquors, 100-plus locations, state of Indiana. There's one near you, 19 new, in fact, here in the Indy area. That is Big Red Liquors, bigredliquors.com. To find that nearest location, the Red Hot Deals, and the Speakeasy. I'll point to that, but also powers the JMV Takeover every Saturday night on B105.7 with incredible deals just like this. Four Roses single barrel. Have you noticed how much you can save if you want to check out a nice bottle of Four Roses for you right there? I'm telling you, the best in spirits you are going to find at Big Red Liquors. My friends from Heaven Hill Distillery, you've got the Larceny, you've got the Evan Williams, you've got the Elijah Craig. Oh, how about Jack Daniels and the various Jack Daniel flavors? You're going to save money on that too. Oh, yeah, don't forget about High Noon Hard Seltzer in a variety of flavors. You get that double shot power every Saturday night from High Noon. And, of course, ice-cold beer for you. Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, Modelo Oro, the low-calorie beer, and Michelob Ultra. All for you at great deals going on right now and into your party weekend with Big Red Liquors. 100-plus locations, state of Indiana. There's one near you, and it powers the JMV Takeover every Saturday night on B105.7. To find more of the deals and that location nearest you, that is bigredliquors.com.
The Ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Show is loaded. Who wants to go see Morgan Wallen a week from Friday? I'd go see Rick Astley because you're getting rickrolled right now from James on the re-entry on this Wednesday. Morgan Wallen tickets a little bit later on. You guys go absolutely crazy over that. Who wants to go see Morgan Wallen? You guys can tell me all about it. Give me your stories. Give me a chance to win those a little bit later on. The airplane screening with Robert Hayes and Julie Haggerty. That's May the 15th at the Miraul National Center. We've got tickets to give away for you for that. And Sancio Grand Prix tickets a little bit later on, too, for you. So hold tight. By the way, James, this is true because much like Airplane, they're going to be doing a screening of the 86 Classic Stand By Me at the Mira.
That is true.
Is it true that actor Corey Feldman's going to join this show tomorrow?
He'll be joining us tomorrow at 3:30.
Holy hell. Corey Feldman. Mouth from Goonies on the show coming up tomorrow. All that and then some for you to win. I think Gary Gerald, by the way, too, for you 500 fans, certainly of the past, you know the greatness of Gary Gerald. Gary's going to join us on the show, and Caden Curry's going to be a part of it. Caden Curry should actually just drive over there. It'd take him about 7 minutes. Just drive to Legends tomorrow, Caden.
Corey Feldman was Lost Boys, too, wasn't he?
Lost Boys.
Great film.
One of the Frog Brothers in Lost Boys. He had a run from, 85 to like 89? I think it all kind of ended with Dream a Little Dream. That's when things got really weird. But License to Drive, you had the two Coreys in a number of films. Hey, here's one more, James, too. This is probably more up your alley. He was in Friday the 13th, part 4, was it? Number 4?
The final chapter. Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. Got that knowledge.
He was in that one with Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover was in it, and then Lawrence Monson, I believe, was in The Last American Virgin. He was the one that was in love with the girl, and the girl ended up diddling his best friend, and his best friend knocked up the girl while diddling and then left the girl, and then he swooped in and helped the girl out of the situation, and then was going to meet her at a party, walked into the kitchen, and the girl was back getting ready to diddle with the guy that knocked her up and left her in the first place. Holy crap.
You just really like saying the word diddle right there.
I just rattled that off right there. It was one of the most realistic / depressing, which is why it was so realistic, teen movies of the 1980s. Realistic / depressing. Andy Moore, Automotive Group Hotline. He is incredibly real, but not depressing. From the Fan Morning Show, weekday morning, 7 until 10 a.m. Kevin Bowen joins us. Is it okay with you that I look at these two big news items today, going to 76 teams in the NCAA tournament, and this ridiculous, almost laughable lottery thing? I don't really care, and here's why. It's basketball. Who cares? It really doesn't matter. Add 70, whatever. Screw it. Yeah, and I see what the NCAA is trying to do with the power conferences as well, and you're going to generate some more profit, some more revenue. And with the draft lottery, frankly, Kev, I don't want to see the Pacers anywhere near this catastrophe again. So that's why I'm indifferent to really not caring about both of these items. What say you?
Yeah, I'm probably a little on the reverse. I think the NCAA tournament expansion is stupid. To me, the regular season's got to have some matter. I don't think I look back on last year's NCAA tournament and thought, oh boy, an Indiana team that won one game in the final month of the season deserved to be in the tourney. So I see no real reason for expansion. As far as the lottery is concerned, if it creates a little bit less tanking late in the season, which I think this is the attempt to it, then I think it's a step in the right direction. Again, the three worst teams in the league would be punished under this new tanking rule or new lottery system, I guess. So I'm good with, trying to create a little bit more real-ish basketball late in the year.
Yeah, tanking is a strategy, though, Kev. Sorry. It's a strategy. Yeah, I know it's on the down low and you can't say it or you're going to get fined, but it's a strategy that the NBA creates. And there's no way out of that strategy. There's no way out of this hole. And this is sure as hell not one.
Well, I think it is an improvement. You have the Sacramento Kings lose how many games in a row to end the season? I think them trying harder to avoid one of these three worst records, you would have seen differences out of them down the stretch there. So by no means do I look at it as it's going to cure everything, but if it offers a little bit more late in the year, that's better than what we had to witness this year.
I just really doubt if the Sacramento Kings is ever really going to have too much impact on what I really care about regarding the NBA, probably. Maybe that's my problem right there, I guess. You just unearthed my problem.
Well, yeah, Kings, I guess. Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, guys, it's almost like whatever means necessary. Because this whole playing surface is uneven in the first place most of the time, right? So, right? I mean, they say it's even, but it is still going to be uneven. There's really no way to even this out. So that was just in terms of what you're trying to do to replenish in the short term, and that's a strategy. And it sucks, but it's a strategy. I guess, to me, what you can try to do is just remain a good, solid team and relevant for as long as possible and not have to put yourself in that situation very often, as Sacramento has over the years.
Right. And again, I think this is an attempt to try and get teams to not totally bottom out. If you're trying to say, hey, you need to win, pretty much you're saying you need to win X amount of games. You need to be, at least somewhat near the play-in line. Then does that create, again, just a little bit more down the stretch of, by the All-Star break, it seemed like the Kings just sat everybody, or throw in the Wizards, the Nets, whoever else you feel like, did this season, or in past years, the other teams that have done it here. So I think the NBA had to do something. Continuing to do the same thing over and over again, I think, would lead to same bitching and moaning from people. So I appreciate an attempt at trying to change it up a little bit here. Again, I don't think it's going to cure all, but I do think you could have a little bit more of it's not a race to win 15 games, which seemed like it was this season. You're actually going to force some teams, I think, to try and win March and April games in order to get an extra lottery ball.
See, I look at both storylines in this case, too. With the NBA, as you mentioned, they're just being reactive. They're being reactive to what was a national juiced-up storyline for the better part of a month, and then it just kind of faded away. So it really doesn't matter to me that much. And then with the NCAA tournament and the additions, I would be on board with it and be happy with it if it were to benefit whom it needs to benefit, would maybe help out the mid-majors a little bit more. But this is clearly going to be just beneficial to the powers, and that's just what it's all about. It's to be beneficial, to add more power conference teams, and to make sure that they all don't run off with their superior conferences and do their own little thing one of these days while also making money out of it.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I mean, if you look at last year, I saw someone kind of mocked out what last year's tournament would have been under 76, and I believe every single team they added, I think, was a high major team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it will continue to benefit those, and those are that is a tournament that, I still felt like, or I hate to use the past tense, still felt like you do reward the small school a little bit more. I mean, you get a fraction of that in college football. But that's one thing I love about it. And, obviously your alma mater nearly experienced it like no other a few years ago, but they got, robbed at the last minute here. So, they can preach this, oh, look, out of the 8 teams, maybe we're going to have one mid-major, maybe a stretch to even get 2. But for the most part, it's going to be, your 18 and 15 Indiana team facing your Auburn team or your Oklahoma team or whoever else. And all we're doing is just adding play-in games. It's not even like, to me, if you expand the college football playoff, although I'm not a huge fan of it, if you get to 16, you still are involving, a 9-3 football team, like a team that had, a pretty good season by all, matters. You won't walk up to not one Indiana fan will tell you that was a pretty good season from them this year, last year in basketball. So that's where I really struggle with the need for it.
So Kevin Bowen, the Fan Morning Show, is going to be at Legends coming up tomorrow. The Franciscan Health Fan Golf Outing is underway officially with do you still call it a shotgun start, or is that not nice to say anymore at 10:30? Shotgun? Can you say that?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what to say and what I can't say anymore as an old guy here. I don't know.
Well, I don't think you'll be canceled for saying shotgun golf outing.
Cool.
No,
I don't want to be canceled.
I really hope not. Well, certainly in Southern Indiana, probably the words are a little
famous
bit more,
last words, buddy. Famous last words.
Well, yeah, it wasn't the Legends Bob Knight's favorite course back in the day, so I'm sure he had quite a few of those words there. But yeah, shotgun start at 10:30. I'll say it there for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Kevin Bowen, the Fan Morning Show, is going to be there. He's going to be teeing it up against you guys. I'm going to be shooting hoops against you guys. This is part of the fun that's going to be had coming up tomorrow. And again, we're underway officially at 10:30. Hey, as a younger generational member, or at least younger than I normally, and it's weird, right? I should be the one that's shaking my fist and being all pissed about these two news items that we were just previously talking about. As a younger generational member, like, I know it takes me a little bit longer than others to get used to new things. How long does it take you to get used to the ever-evolving world, and not exactly sports-wise for the better at times? Do you feel like as you get older that it's becoming a little bit more noticeable that it's more difficult for you to adjust, or are you still young enough like everybody else is now to just, hey, I'm just going to go and whatever happens right here? Where's your feel?
Yeah, I'm probably a bit of an old soul at heart, probably a little bit more of a traditionalist at heart. I kind of love the pageantry, if you will, and I don't know, maybe a little bit more sports history than, most maybe in my age group, or certainly younger than me. I mean, as far as these two are concerned, John, like I boil it down to this. Is the NCAA tournament a problem right now? No. Okay. So no need to fix it. No need to touch it. Is the NBA tanking issue a problem? Yes. So try to fix it. Try to touch it. Like, to me, it's rather simple. That's kind of how I look at it. What are the problems in sports, and what are not the problems? In the NCAA tournament, no one. I mean, everyone loves it. Frankly, people.
I don't think tank is a problem. That's just me. I don't think it's a problem. I don't know what alternative you give some of these teams if they're crap to be as crap. That's just the way that it lays out. I just don't think this is going to help that much. I don't look at it as a problem.
Well, I mean, I think clearly teams are trying to tank, are they not?
Yeah, yeah. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. I don't. But that's the process you have to go through, given your circumstances. Like, would you rather? What do you like to see better? For example, would you like to see a team that went through a tanking process get a higher selection than OKC, being savvy at best with Sam Presti doing what he's done in the lottery, and now being back in that again because of the Clippers getting bounced in the fashion in which they did? See, they're not deserving of that. Are they? Even though they're the savvy maker in this. So I understand the means you have to take, some of the paths you have to take to do what's best for your franchise. And that's how this was all created.
Yeah, I guess I look at it from this. I want to see competitive basketball as close to game 82 as possible. And I think you got many games this season in particular that we didn't see that. We didn't see several teams just not putting guys out there or whatever, resting their veteran guys or playing a bunch of two-way guys. Everyone to define how teams went about their tanking. I say that in quotes.
Yeah.
And this, to me, is an attempt at trying to create a more competitive brand deeper into the season. Again, by no means do I think this is going to be the ultimate cure of it, but you have a problem. There is a tanking problem in the NBA. And to me, you can't just sit on your hands and say, well, we're not going to do anything about it. No, you have to try and do something about it. It's probably not going to work overnight by any means. There's probably going to have to be tweaks of it over the years. But to me, this is an attempt at trying to, again, crawl before you're walking here when it comes to correcting what is a clear problem in my mind with the NBA.
One final thing. Do you think tanking is more an issue than good teams resting their star players? Early in the season, now that's become more prominent, middle of the season, whenever in the season. Because I look at that more of an issue, because you know what you're getting with bad teams. But you should be knowing what you're getting with the good teams. And more often than not, you don't, because of the resting and, what they do during the start of the season now, just like they do middle and at the end. Which one do you think is the bigger issue?
Yeah, I'd probably lean more I'd probably lean more towards the tanking of it. I mean, the resting of guys early in the season. Clearly there are, probably plenty of instances of it. But if you're going to tell me that, again, 2 years ago, Tyrese Halliburton rushed to play because of a 65-game threshold with a lingering hamstring issue, and had he rested more, maybe that wouldn't have lingered as long as it did, or aggravations of it, and that clearly impacted him the year they traded for Siakam, then I probably would be content as a fan if that, was my team, and I'm thinking about the long term with my star player and the playoffs. So I think that one is just such a really, I think it's such a tough one. I mean, sure, you probably have some guys that are flat out resting. I think you also have some guys that are dealing with, actual nagging stuff. And if the team doctor says, well, if you sit tonight, you got a better chance to play in April or May, then, look at the playoffs right now. Not to say that like resting would have helped these guys' injury situations, but whether you're Anthony Edwards or Dante DiVincenzo or the Lakers injuries or Durant or Embiid, whoever, could you all of a sudden create more of an availability in the playoffs? That I think is tougher to me than it is the old tanking debate.
But it doesn't come down to that, though. It's about, who's paying the price of admission, and you're paying to see that star, and then that star all of a sudden is not a part of the lineup or in the rotation that day. That screws the fan.
Sure. And as does,
I think, well. Listen, I understand if you're injured, that's fine. But don't give me that crap. It's the second of a back-to-back, and, it's this load management bull crap. No. I think, to me, that is more of an issue than crappy teams being crappy after February 10th or whatever. That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I think both are definite issues, and to me, I think the tanking one, there's a little bit more of an attempt at trying to correct that. I think telling guys when they're hurt or when they're resting is very murky. Like, how do you police that? That to me, I think, is almost impossible for the NBA to try and go about policing that. I think the ability to reward teams for winning late in the season, like you're trying to do here with the tanking rules, that to me seems like something that you can police a little bit more.
All right, what tee box are you in tomorrow?
I believe out on hole 15, giving away a Mizuno, I believe a driver,
nice.
Tim Henderson from Mizuno will be out there. I think there was some talk of maybe a par 3 giveaway as well. So I don't think we're locked in exactly where we'll be, 15 or on that par 3. And I assume you'll have your basketball.
I'll be out there with our mutual friends. Yes, Carlton and the gang will be out there with the goal.
Let's go, Carlton. I love it. It's going to be crispy, but hey, if you can't shoot in 45-degree weather, you can't shoot in the controlled climate indoors.
Is it going to be 45 tomorrow?
I think at the first tee, it's going to be about 45, maybe creeping into 50, but it'll be crispy there.
Warmer by the afternoon coming up tomorrow. Kev's going to be a part of it. So will James and Jeff Rickard and Jake and Eddie and me. My James stays back here. Meantime, the fan golf outing coming up tomorrow at Legends Golf Club in Franklin, and it is presented by Franciscan Health. Kev, I cannot wait to see you out there coming up tomorrow morning, man. Safe travels to you, pal.
Always a favorite. We'll be looking forward to it. See you tomorrow, John.
Kevin Bowen, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Spirited debate right there. I dig it. Chad Buchanan, Pacers GM, top of the hour. Morgan Wallen tickets to give away. So many reasons for you to stay. So you better. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. Down here on Mother's Day, Sunday, May the 10th. If you've been wondering what to give or what to ask for this Mother's Day, Sundown Gardens and Miss M's Home and Garden have the perfect gift. So here's where we start, listeners out there, for this Mother's Day deal. When you go to 1075thefan.com, you can enter to win a prize pack worth $100. And this gets even better. Everyone who enters gets a coupon for $20 off a $100 purchase. That's like getting $20 to buy spring annuals, bedding plants, hanging baskets, combo platters, more. Planters, I should say, not platters. combo planters and more. And all you got to do is go to 1075thefan.com to enter to win the Mother's Day prize pack worth $100 and get your $20 coupon. By the way, and a shout out to Scott Levy, who came by my house today. They do the landscaping. You talk about, you present ideas and concepts, and they put it down in a blueprint. They will make your property look incredible. I also went by Miss M's a little bit earlier today down in Bargersville. They have exactly what you're looking for. That's Miss M's Home and Garden in Bargersville and Sundown Gardens in Westfield. Make sure you tell them JMV sent you.
The Ride with JMV.
Have you ever killed anyone?
Yeah, but they were all bad.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Sancio Grand Prix tickets, they're out on the track today. I guess it's officially May, even though the calendar says it is yet to be May. But Sancio Grand Prix tickets, that is a week from Saturday. Who wants to go? Number 30 on the text line. You're going to get a couple, and you're going to be able to go to usher in the month of May, as you should, out at IMS. Number 30 on the text line at 317-239-1070. Number 30. You're a winner. I want to see that thing moving, too. I want to see, though, you may give it a little bit of love if you enter right now, because I know you guys are all down with the whole Morgan Wall and stuff. We're going to give those away a little bit later on. I want to see things active right now. 317-239-1070. Go at it. Jeremiah Wheatley says, I've got the resolution for tanking. The last team did not make it into the playoffs, gets the rights to the first draft pick consolation prize for almost making it into the postseason. That would almost have to be the last team, because then you'd have teams trying to be the last team not to make it, wouldn't you? I'm just trying to think about that logically right here. Now, there's no perfect way, don't get me wrong. I think losing games, I don't know what to tell anybody. The season is long, and, you know, once you get past February, a lot of these teams, it's already been etched in stone. So it is going to be a strategic race to the bottom. And as I mentioned to Kevin, the sitting out games, early, mid, and I know, well, you're not, they're tough, and these are, yeah, I understand. They get injured. If you're injured, okay. But just sitting out for load management, I'm not down with that program. To me, that is much worse. Because if your team is near the bottom. You're like, I think Pacer fans understood the situation this year. I think you understood the situation. I think the load management crap is much worse. All teams of the past have benefited from the tanking. Hell, one of the teams on the upswing right now, San Antonio, has had a history of doing it. Oklahoma City, that is sitting where they are right now, has had a history. And we're just going to be bad. We know we're going to be bad for a while. And, you kind of forget the fact that OKC played it to be bad. Now, all of a sudden, they're a renaissance in Sam Presti and building a team. You got to do what you can do, and I just don't think that there is much use to be reactionary. If it's one thing you want to fix it, fine, but this is just, again, reactionary to everybody pissing and moaning about it over the course of the season, and it went away. You just bring it back up. As for the Pacers, I just don't ever want to see them in this situation again. The NCAA tournament going to 76. We'll get your thoughts on that. The draft lottery non-tanking division. We'll get your thoughts on that. And Chad Buchanan, the Pacers general manager, talks blue and gold. That and more coming up on the other side. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live in the Hensley Legal Group Command Center. It happens. Hire Hensley. Hour 2, straight ahead. Pacers GM next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. That's John here for Big Red Liquors, powers the JMV takeover every Saturday night on B105.7, and knows me, knowing where to point you to find those great deals. 100-plus locations, state of Indiana, 19 new around Indy. That's BigRedLiquors.com. Sazerac Rye, have you heard of it? And it tastes good. $10 off at Big Red Liquors. That is a great deal. 4 rows of single barrel, you're going to save $15 as well. How about the cold beer game going on right now out of Cincinnati, Ohio? Ryan Geist 12 packs, $2 off right there. Guinness 8 packs, if you like it, you're going to save $5. And Michelob Ultra, the superior light beer. 12-pack aluminum bottles, you're going to save big as well at Big Red Liquors. Big Red Liquors, 100-plus locations, state of Indiana. There's one near you, 19 new here in and around Indianapolis. For that, the red hot deals and more, and know that it powers the JMV takeover every Saturday night on B105.7 starting at 6 o'clock. You can find it all online at BigRedLiquors.com.
The Ride with JMV.
I am the cream, yeah. The cream of the crop. And there is no one that does it better.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Jaylen Farmer, mid-round selection, offensive lineman of the Colts, will join us coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. Boyland's going to join us bottom of the hour. Legends. I almost said Legends Bar and Grill in Bloomington, where I once saw Vinnie Neil play. And this is a true story right here. Vinnie Neil, without Motley Crue, came out to play a solo show, and he was about an hour and a half late. And a dude named Jason Milliken, that was the concert promoter, came out and said, quote, Vince got a hold of some bad Steak and Shake, and he'll be a little bit late. So that gave everybody the visual that maybe Vince was dealing with a toilet issue right there. Vince comes out about 90 minutes late and fires up, kickstart looks all bloated and terrible, fires up, kickstart my heart, stops it in the middle, throws the microphone down, picks it back up and says, you blankers aren't like a Hollywood crowd, which obviously it's Bloomington, Indiana. Mm-hmm. And then he stomped off and he was done.
That might be the least surprising Vinnie Neil story I've ever heard.
The Vinnie Neil story right there. No, but I mentioned Legends Golf Club coming up tomorrow. Ted Bishop's Place is going to have us with the Fan Golf Outing presented by Franciscan Health. 10:30, we're underway. I am shooting hoops, I believe, in T-Box number 1 coming up tomorrow, and you guys can take your shot to beat me. Good luck with that. So we'll do that coming up tomorrow. We'll all be doing our 3 shows out there live. And as far as ours would be concerned, James told me a little bit earlier today that Corey Feldman, the actor, is calling in from Stand By Me tomorrow. That should be interesting. I'll give you a little bit more insight on that as we get closer. But that is coming up tomorrow. Gary Gerald also on the show coming up tomorrow. Meantime, he's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I don't know if he's been on a hiatus with the show or what for a while, because it seems to have been way too damn long with Pacer General Manager Chad Buchanan joining us now. Have you been on hiatus from the show?
Well, I thought you were avoiding me, John, because I don't know if it's because we had 19 wins this year or what, but I thought you were playing you went ghosting on me this year.
I never want to see this happen again. I just said this, honestly. I went through a 30-minute diatribe about how, and I don't know how much you can speak on what is the anticipated new rules regarding, the lottery and such, which you guys are certainly going to be a part of a week from Sunday on Mother's Day. But I don't really put too much stock into it, because I don't expect you guys ever to be a part of it in my lifetime again. You just can't be. All right, you cannot. I can't go through this again. Never.
Well, I hope not. That was not a enjoyable season, for any of us. But, as far as the changes that are inevitably going to be made, I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'm sure you do as well.
Yeah.
I'm ultimately, we're going to be a good partner to the league, whatever they feel is best for the health of the league. Whether we agree or not, we're going to be good partners like we've always been. But I think for me, the core of, a lot of the issues that our league is facing right now is, and this may be unpopular, I feel like we play way too many games, John.
Yeah.
And I think that creates a lot of problems, both, with the tanking pieces, tied to that, the injury pieces tied to that, the quality of games, a lot of different things that I think could be not completely solved, but, help to be rectified if we played fewer games.
I was just having a healthy debate with Kevin Bowen, and I think that's one of the reasons why I don't put too much stock or care into the whole new tanking rules and what they're trying to come up with, because my point was having dudes, sit out in November and December and the second of a back-to-back, or sitting out games and people pay the price of admission and don't end up seeing that person. And that speaks to what you're talking about right there. The reason why that teams feel compelled to handle things that way would be because of the number of games that you're playing in a season.
100%. And I think, the quality of play is the most important thing for the health of our league, and the quality of the games, having, all your top players available, each and every night, or as much as possible, is really important to the long-term viability and health of our league. And I think when you play 82 games, And you combine that, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Kids today are different. They grow up playing basketball. They play a different, not style of game, but they play a lot more basketball than we did when you and I grew up, John. And that toll of all of that, those AU, the high school, the camps, it adds up to their body, takes a toll on their bodies. Then you get to the NBA and we're playing 82 games. You're playing preseason. You're playing another 2 to 3 months, potentially in the playoffs. And the toll of that just takes, a lot on a human body. And I know we're not all thoroughbreds like you that can play every, twice a week.
I know it.
But, I think if we played fewer games, I think the fans would be more pleased with the product. And not that the product's bad now, but I think you'd have more of our top players being able to play more regularly. And ultimately, the fans are the lifeblood of our league. And, if they're not happy with the product, then we got to figure out how to make them, more pleased with what we're putting out there, because it's a great game and we all love it, but we want to make sure what we're putting out there is our best foot forward.
Hey, Chad, why is that not more of a prevalent issue / argument that's going on? And here is what I probably dislike about the news cycle and the whole lottery and the lack of tanking thing and the measures they're trying to take right now is that's reactionary to a moment, to a month, a couple of months, and then it goes away. It's not there. It's prevalent. Somebody nationally argues about it, shakes their fist about it, and then it goes away. But with what we're talking about right now, with too many games and wanting, to qualify this as a better product, why is that not so much on the front burner, or is it, and I'm just not seeing it?
It's a topic that occasionally gets broached, but ultimately, our league is it's a business, and the most amount of revenue we can generate, that's what businesses are meant to do. And I think the less games you play, the more you jeopardize the amount of revenue you can make. So, whether that's the way it should be or not, that's the reality of the situation. And I've always felt like if you reduce the number of games, you reduce the number of back-to-backs, you reduce the travel, you increase the quality of play, you reduce the chance of injuries. I think it's something that's going to come about as a topic moving forward. And I think, you got to get the Players Association to support it, because ultimately you got to have the owners and the Players Association support anything to get it through. I think that's a topic that will become, potentially more on the table here moving forward. But I do think, the tanking thing, the topic this year was, relevant because of the quality of the draft. I think people view like this is a potentially very good draft. And so you had more teams that were looking down that path. And ultimately, every team's got to do what is best for their organization. And, we as the Pacers have always tried to win. We've always tried to compete. That was our intention this year. We hit, some roadblocks with a lot of injuries to many of our top guys, and it became more and more challenging for us. And at some point, you have to start thinking, for long term. And, it was never our intention to win 19 games this year. That was, very disappointing, for us. And it was, like I said, we went through a lot of challenges. And at some point, you got to start thinking about what's the best path for the health and, chances for our team to compete for a championship. And so we started to look at some of our younger players. We had some of our veteran players that were still dealing with injuries, and you got to make decisions that's in the best interest for your team. And, but I think there's a lot of reasons why the tanking issue was a topic this year. And I think, the fact that it's a very good draft, that was a big reason why.
So Chad Buchanan, Pacers general managers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We'll close this topic up regarding, our thoughts on the scheduling and too many games. I did want to ask you, because I know you're an incredibly smart dude, maybe not as athletic as you want to be, but incredibly smart dude. I'm curious, do you have any theories? Do you have any theories / solutions, you think, for what we've been talking about? Not with the whole tanking issue, but with the number of games compared to the revenue that is generated with the number of games right now.
Yeah, it's a great question. We talk about this a lot internally. How much is the business of the NBA and the revenue that's generated impacted by playing fewer games? Like, you debate, does the quality of play and the quality of games create more of a demand to attend the game because there's fewer games? Does the quality of the games create more eyes and, more potential for sponsorship and revenue through that path? We've talked about different ways how you structure a potential season. There's lots of different, concepts and ideas out there. And if we end up adding more teams to the league, if there's expansion, that creates, maybe it's an opportunity to change the schedule and change, what's traditionally been an 82-game season. Maybe this is the window to try to think about doing it a little differently to preserve the health of our league, because we see it all the time with the draft. We see players come in that are 21, 22 years old that have so much wear and tear on their bodies from all the years of playing youth basketball and AU basketball, and it adds up. It takes its toll, and you got guys that are, you see it in the playoffs. Just this year, we saw it last year with our own team, but some of the injuries that impact the quality of teams and the quality of games is very unfortunate. I think it can be traced back, and not all due to, but I think in large part to the number of minutes those guys are out on the court playing anymore.
Do you think that, and this is the question for you, the parent of basketball players, do you think that you could shorten the amount of games that kids play every year? I mean, is it – because I'm hearing from parents all the time with AAU kids where you're going to all these tournaments every single weekend and you're paying $30 to park, $85 to go and watch a game or two. I mean, it's really becoming ridiculous. And then when you add in the realness of what we're talking about here, just beyond that aspect, the realness is just the amount of basketball that's being played and whether or not you think that amount, that level of basketball, is that necessary year after year for growing kids playing the game of basketball?
I love this topic, John. I've gone through it. I have a son that's in college playing basketball, and I have a 14-year-old daughter that plays volleyball, a 9-year-old son that plays basketball, and it's too much. There's not as much just randomness of kids just getting together and playing. Everything's so organized and it's so, money driven. Parents want to keep up with, what they see other kids doing. And, some of his parents just love seeing their kids play. So they want them to play 40 to 50 games of basketball in the wintertime rather than just letting them do it kind of on their own terms and let them play half that amount of games and, just be a kid. So I do think that starts at a young level. I think the pressure to try and keep up with, other families and other kids that you see and what you see on the social media and Instagram and, kids see that and parents see that and it creates this frenzy and that's why you see all these businesses opening up with people that, train kids and take advantage of that, opportunity. So times have changed and it's, us as parents, we've kind of allowed it to change. And I'd love to see kids more active in playing multiple sports rather than sticking to one sport. And I think that's important to not only just their athletic development, but their understanding of, playing with different teammates and learning different rules of different games and learn how to play with different types of, coaches. And it limits things when you specialize yourself at such an early age, in my opinion.
It is weird to me because you go back 20, 30, 40 years or whatever. All right. So, maybe you don't see a certain player. Maybe that player is not visible and you miss out. But in this particular era, everybody is seen, no matter what you're doing. And with the amount of games that's being played, and I agree with you on this, it seems like that you're compelled to play at every single tournament, every single weekend, and pay the amount of money to attend these tournaments as family members, as people, whatever, to park, to get into the facility, to spend hotel room time on that weekend with higher rates in that hotel. You feel compelled because of that competition that you might have with those around you, with other families around you, or in hopes of your kid being seen, when we all know in this era, it is as easy to be seen right now as it ever has been. So it is weird where where this came from, but it all kind of just comes from ultimately the parents and the families they're pushing for this. I just think that amount of games is incredibly unnecessary.
I totally agree. I've always told my son this, and I've told my daughter this. Like, you don't need to play in every single tournament, every single event, every single camp. Like, if you can play the next level, whatever that is for you, if it's high school, if it's college, if it's pro, the right people are going to find you. I mean, you're not going to be a hidden gem anymore in this society with social media and, comparing yourself to what other people are doing on social media and other kids are doing. It just creates this frenzy of, competition. And it is unfortunate because, you see people cashing in on it from a financial standpoint. There was an AU event this weekend. My son was not in it, but they were charging you to park.
Yeah.
And if you left the parking lot to go grab lunch or you had a 4-hour break in between games and you came back to the gym, they were charging you again to park. And it's become this like money grab of youth sports. And it's just, like I said, I got a lot of thoughts on it because I've lived it. And
yep.
But it's unfortunate.
It's really unfortunate when you're going to feel better when it's over as opposed to enjoying it when it's going on. You know what I mean? And that's the way everybody feels.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So who's going to the draft lottery a week from Sunday?
I can't officially announce it, but I think people will be fans of who is up there representing us. I'd be shocked if there's not a lot of people feeling very good about who's representing the Pacers. But I can't reveal it yet.
Present member of the team or organization or past what?
I would say it's present. It's a member of the present Pacers, and that's probably as much as I can give you.
Well, you're sending Obi, aren't you? Well done.
I'm not confirming anything for you, John.
So what I know this comes down to good fortune and crossing your fingers and all of this stuff, but what are your thoughts on where your organization is positioned? Because we know that the lottery selection has been gambled with that trade deadline deal for Ivica Zubac going back to February. And we know the situations here and what could be the complications if you, for example, don't get the 1 through 4. We'll start right there. What are your thoughts? Is there any way you can look into this, or do you just basically cross your fingers and you hope that you ultimately end up with 1 through 4?
Yeah, I think when we made the trade, obviously we knew there's risk involved, just as there's in any other trade. But, with the draft pick involved, we looked at, look at the finances of the situation and the scenario where you keep the pick, the scenario where you lose the pick. And we felt, that both scenarios provided, opportunities to help our team be better next year. And ultimately, we feel like our team right now is at the point where we want to be in the race. We don't want to be standing on the sidelines watching teams go for a trophy while we stand by and watch and observe. We feel like we have a team that showed us these last 2 years that we are in that mix when we're healthy. And shame on us if we don't try to help put this team in position to have another couple runs at it. If we're always thinking long term, you never step up to the plate and swing. And we felt like this was a chance for us to. Obviously the risk involved with the pick is there, but should we lose the pick, there's other opportunities to improve our team through free agency. We still have trades. We have, we gain a pick that we can use in the future for a trade. We felt like there's a way to improve our team either way with whatever the ping pong balls, however they fall for us. So we're not putting all of our eggs into one basket that, hey, if we don't keep this pick, that it's doom and gloom, because it's not, because there's other windows and other doors that open with that opportunity. And if we do get the pick, obviously it's a great opportunity to add a young player or, to this team. But the core of this comes down to, Ivica is a great player. We've been a big believer, big fan of him for a long time. This team has shown that it's, is capable of doing some really, really special things. And we were missing a starting center that we felt, could keep us in that mix. And we owed it to this group and these fans and our community to to put us in position to try and do and replicate some of the things we've seen these last 2 years from this team.
Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Are you allowed to talk about? You're not allowed to talk about players, are you? I don't want to ask you if you're not.
I prefer. I can talk about our own guys if you want to talk about our own guys.
Well, okay. Then all right. Well, then I'll rephrase here. Give me a specific need that you and Kevin and Rick and members of that organization you have identified for this group to be the best you can be going into next year.
Can I say health? Does that count as a
Well,
need?
that sucks. We know that. No, that's a no. That is not an adequate answer, sir. No.
Okay.
Beyond health.
Okay. Well, from the roster standpoint, I think one thing this season revealed for us is, the need for, some scoring off of our bench. I think will be important, probably from the wing position. Obviously, losing Benedict, you lose some of that. But I think this team is, we have some depth. I think we still have some holes to fill. I think, you look at maybe, the 5 position, do we have a backup center we feel comfortable with? That's, we had Jay and Micah both had good moments this year. Do we feel good about that position? Do we feel good about our backup wings position? Because, we're a little small when it comes to just the size of our wings. Do we need a bigger wing that can, get into our rotation and help us from a scoring standpoint? And then you can never have enough point guards. I think we realized that this season, the injuries to Ty, then to TJ, and then Drew goes down, and, Quentin Jackson gets hurt, and, we're playing a two-way two-guard, Taylor and Peter, at point guard. So, I think, those types of positions off our bench are areas that we want to try to look at, see if we can address this offseason.
Did Micah Potter play to the level in which gives him a legitimate chance to be a part of this group coming up next year?
Yeah, I think Micah brought an element of three-point shooting that was very, very good. I mean, he ended up shooting 43%, I believe, and ended up
was that surprising to you guys?
I mean, we knew he was a capable stretch shooter, but not a low 40s stretch 5 doing it against some nights against starters. I mean, that was a little, elevated, shooting performance than we anticipated. But we knew coming in that he had the ability to stretch, but the efficiency that he did it at was probably a pleasant surprise for us.
Chad Buchanan is with us. The other thing I was thinking about in terms, let's just say, for example, hey, everything is right in the world, and whomever you're sending to the draft lottery a week from Sunday works out, and you get somewhere 1 through 4. Would you consider, if it's not 1 or 2, or maybe not even 1 overall, would you consider trading it?
You got to consider everything. If you have a pick up there, you're looking at obviously who's the player on the board or who the players on the board to pick from. But if we can find another player or multiple assets that help us with this team to try to compete for a championship, we're going to consider everything on that, John.
That'd be interesting. Good fortune 1 through 4 right there. And hey, I want to ask you this, because I've said it this way, and you've done a good job before of answering this. I don't think that deal for Zubac can be as good as it can be. That doesn't mean he's not going to be good. He's going to add a lot, and I trust that he will. However, if you don't end up getting 1 through 4, for example, and I know that you said you get other alternatives, other options you can do. Is there going to be an empty feeling with that at all?
I mean, you're obviously going to feel in the moment, as it's revealed, if you keep the pick, or if in your case, you're saying you don't keep the pick, there's going to be some disappointment, but I think you're naturally, all of us are competitive. You want to have good fortune, but I think it's our job as a front office, as an organization, to prepare for all scenarios and to put yourself in position to continue to move the train forward. And that's why we felt like there's, if we don't keep the pick, there are opportunities to continue to improve the team. And we're gonna absolutely look to do that, because we're at the plate and we're trying to swing to win next year and in the coming years right after that too, because we got this team kind of contractually together for another couple of years, and we want to go for it. Our fans deserve it. Our owner deserves it. This team, our coaches, let's go for it.
I like that. Like that sound right there. How's Tyrese Halliburton doing right now?
He's had a miserable run with the shingles. Like I don't know how many people have had it before.
I've actually had it before. I had a minor case of it too. You and I are both the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it depends on where you get it on your body that determines how miserable you get.
Where'd you have yours?
I have mine across the top of my chest. And
I had mine right on the outside of my armpits. Weird.
Oh, yeah. And everybody, talks about how miserable it was. Mine wasn't that bad. And so I can't necessarily relate to what Ty's going through because it's been misery, trying different medications to help with it, the itching, and wearing a hat, wearing sunglasses, whatever he can to try to discourage himself from itching. And, but he's just a naturally on the go kind of guy. And I think this has really been a challenge for him to work through and get through because he wants to be on the court. He wants to be out there playing and competing. And, fortunately, this didn't happen while he was healthy. If this had happened during the season when he was healthy, gosh, I don't know, what that would look like. It's such an unprecedented thing for an NBA player to go through. I don't know how, that would have looked if he was, not recovering from injury and he gets the shingles. So, but we've got a little window here before he's got to be back on the court. And but he's plowing through things. So.
Have you watched him play 5-on-5?
I have.
What's he looking like?
It gives me a little tingle every time I see him on the court too.
That is a tingle right there. I feel, sir, I've said this all along too in closing that I'm just confident when he's out there and he's out there orchestrating. I'm confident. And I said this yesterday, Chad, the NBA postseason so far so misses the Pacers and what they brought last year. It is not I'm biased as hell, but it's not nearly the same. The NBA misses your organization. Your team is a part of it in the postseason right now because it's not even close to the way that it was last year. Not close.
Well, we miss it as much as you can imagine as well. I mean, just this feeling of being, not in the playoffs, not at the party is no fun. And I think our guys are, they feel it too, and they're anxious to get back together and fight our way back into position to be, contending again. And, one thing I want to say before we finish, John, is I want to thank our fans this year for sticking with us because they showed us a lot of grace this year when, most professional sports fans would be like, I'm not going to watch this. I mean, they've won 19 games. They got all these guys hurt. So much respect and much love to our Pacer fans out there.
I would agree with you on that, and it's easy for me to sit here and call things a gap year and for the fans to say a gap year, but those players and you guys that are a part of this, losing to that level hurts a great deal, and to get past that is going to be fantastic, to say the least. So a week, let's see, a week from Monday, I want you back on here, okay? Can we do that after we find out what the hell happens in the draft lottery?
I'll be at the combine, but if I can squeeze it,
Yeah.
I'd love to come on with you.
We just pick up the cell phone, call from the combine, and give me a little play-by-play action from the combine, or Melanie can come on and just tell me all about it. What do you think? Either one.
Either or.
I got to get some more of those flavor packets from friend Michelle one of these days. That adds to my grilling right there. I don't know if you can speak to that. I'm assuming you probably can because you're tight family friends, but I'm a big fan of that stuff. True story.
Yeah. Hey, Melanie and Michelle had a blast with you, John. You're an instant fan in our household. So
I'm a blast.
You're our kind of people.
I'm a blast, buddy. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate all the input and all the content and the conversation with us. And, yeah, regardless of the combine, I want to work you back in after the draft lottery here the week after next, okay?
You got it, my friend.
Appreciate you, Chad.
All right. Have a good one, John.
Chad Buchanan, Pacer General Manager on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. We shall take a break. That was really good, by the way, across the board. So many different avenues, and we can put that into even more detail coming up. Pat Boyland's going to join us. Jaylen Farmer, draft selection, offensive lineman by the Colts, joins us in the 5 o'clock hour. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, the Hensley Legal Group Command Center. It happens. Hire Hensley. 93.5, 107.5, The Fan. Hey, John here for the best in realty. Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. That's markdietel.com, MarkDietel.com today. The best in realty, even if you're not on the move right now, wanting to do something different right now, no matter the situation, you've got to go with the best. So if you do, maybe you're downsizing at this point with a graduating kid, understand. But it's also something where measures can be taken in the future. Just make sure you have the number handy. That's Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. Mark Dietel is the only real estate expert I trust and recommend with the sale of my home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts, and you can cancel at any time. It's Mark Dietel Realty, 317-755-4232. Save the number, because one of these days, even if it's not right now, you're going to need it, and you're going to want the best. That's markdietel.com, MarkDietel.com today.
The Ride with JMV.
Son, you got a panty on your head. Just drive fast, eh?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Fan golf outing tomorrow, presented by Franciscan Health. Legends Golf Club, Franklin, Ted Bishop, thank you very much. A cast of many, hopefully including you. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. NBA postseason later on tonight. Magic on the road to close that opportunity against the Pistons. Up 3-1, Game 5, 7 o'clock. I believe that is Amazon Prime. The crappy Raptors and Cavaliers series tied at 2 games apiece. Nothing has been more dead ass than those two teams in that series. Has been awful. 7:30, they're on ESPN, so clearly you may want to watch something else because that sucks. And the Rockets and the Lakers, no Kevin Durant later on tonight, the sprained knee. But it looks like Austin Reeves is back for the Lakers. They're optimistic for game number 5 with the Lakers up 3-1. That coming at you at 10 o'clock from Southern California. Chad Buchanan, Pacers General Manager, a little bit earlier, the podcast at 1075thefan.com. You can locate that, and it was really good across the board. He did not divulge who is going to be representing the Pacers at the NBA Draft Lottery coming up a week from Sunday on Mother's Day, but he did say you will like it. I believe he said somebody is a member of the organization presently. So if you missed that, check it out. Chad Buchanan, 1075thefan.com. That is our podcast. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he's a part of the Pacer Radio Network and a part of the Fever Television Network. He is a multimedia star and a friend of the show. It is Pat Boyland who joins us now. Hello, Pat. How are you?
Doing well, especially after that introduction. Good to be with you.
Have you relegated yourself to understanding your elite level of multimedia stardom right now? Have you let that soak in?
Well, I'll say this, ever since Caitlin Clark came here, the spotlight on this organization has just been massive. And the rising tide lifts all boats analogy, I keep trying to find different analogies because I feel like I use that one over and over and over, but I just can't find another that fits. Certainly we're beneficiaries of it, no question. The numbers I just saw from the Ion broadcast of the Fever opener were close to 1 million, I think, and we'll have the Ion game tomorrow. Bria Goss and I will have it, and it'll be nationally on Ion. I mean, to think about numbers like that coming out of the preseason, it's phenomenal. So
it is.
Certainly very fortunate to have a seat on the bus here.
And not to mention, I don't think anybody really knows what the hell Ion is, which makes it even more incredible. Seriously, I think that's awesome.
Somebody made the point to me a couple of days ago that had to be one of the better TV deals out there because nobody really had heard that much of Ion. And now I don't know that I would say it's a mainstream channel, but listen, if you want to catch Caitlin Clark and the Fever, there are numerous ways to do so, including a local package that we'll have here. And I think that announcement is coming out any minute, but not quite yet as of this conversation here. But listen, if you want to follow Caitlin Clark and the Fever, you've got to be able to watch Ion because I think there's maybe 9 or 10 games that are on Ion this year. So yeah, it's a bunch of different networks, and the 44 national TV games is just astounding in a good way. And Ion's a big part of that, and they have been for the last few years.
Now, I tell you what, Pat, you get on social media and you type in Caitlin Clark's name, and you get responses everywhere. It is a phenomenon. It's very, very Taylor Swift-like. Know what I mean? Seriously, it is that phenomenal, what you get response-wise.
She's Taylor Swift in basketball shoes. I mean, it's remarkable, just the rabid fandom. And I think one of the things that stands out to me, not that I think anybody that has followed her story expected this at all, but just the rabid nature of her fan base and fans in general of Caitlin Clark, and has become de facto Indiana Fever fans, none of that passion has worn off at all. It's not like this was something that, it was new at Iowa maybe for a few years, new into the WNBA, and okay, those fans are satiated. That's not been the case. I mean, it is just like it's day one every single day, and all you have to do is post. All you have to do is post a 10-second clip of her at practice running up and down the court, and next thing you know, your phone's blowing up if you post it. It's truly unlike anything that I've ever witnessed, at least personally. And I know there have been the debates about, are there any other athletes that have had this level of influence on a sport? Tiger Woods may be the most recent best example in what he did with golf. But if there is another example, There aren't many, few and far between, certainly, and we're just so fortunate to have it right here in Indianapolis and in this state and under Pacer Sports and Entertainment's umbrella.
Fever Wings pregame coming up tomorrow night. That is at 7 o'clock, Fever and the Wings. It is preseason. I think I said pregame, preseason. And the pregame is here at 6:30 coming up tomorrow night. So is this a championship or bust scenario, given what we just talked about, the magnification of Caitlin Clark and what she means, not just to women's basketball and the WNBA, but just in the global spotlight, the way that it is right now for this team with what they accomplished in an injury-riddled campaign a year ago? Is this championship or bust?
Well, I always sometimes I struggle with that phrase a little bit because I can certainly think of scenarios this year. You think of the Pacers season last year. Now, nowhere near the expectations going into it, but to get to Game 7 of the NBA Finals, they didn't win it, but I think everybody will always review that season and have it be one of the best and most accomplished in franchise history. I can certainly think of scenarios where you're leaving the season feeling good about what the Fever accomplished, but the flip side of that coin is only so many teams so often go into a season as legitimate title contenders. And I think the Fever are very fortunate to be in that position, and they are in that position. I mean, if you ask Caitlin Clark, she'll be the first to tell you expectation this year is championship. So if you look at it from a very black and white perspective, if the Fever don't win a championship this year, I know that she will be disappointed in that. As somebody that doesn't play on the court and wears a little bit of an analyst hat, there are definite steps forward this franchise will be looking to take. She'll need to be healthy. The Fever will need to be healthy to accomplish that. I don't know that, you'd necessarily list them as the favorite. New York has a fantastic roster coming back. Vegas has a fantastic roster coming back. But when you've got Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and then I think the front office did a great job from a depth perspective. You've got the roster in place to contend for a championship this year, and those windows, they don't always come along. So from that perspective, I think there's certainly something to the thought of championship or bust, just from the angle of this team can do it. It has the star power at the top of the roster. It has the depth. Any championship team needs a little luck. The Fever got zero luck last year. If you're a believer in sports karma, hopefully that means that you're going to get more this year. We'll have to see. But, no question, I think that Caitlin Clark and the roster would view it that way, that anything less than a championship is a disappointment.
Pat Boyland joins us. He's kind enough to be here with us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So yesterday we learned from the Fever and others that they exercised Caitlin Clark's 4-year option. Explain to those out there what exactly that means. And for people that are asking me this, is there ever a chance that Caitlin Clark wouldn't play her entire career here, or are there means and ways? I just don't know enough about it, how things go in the WNBA to make sure that you solidify a player within your organization as long as you can. What parameters, guidelines, and such, contractually speaking, are in the WNBA, and are they similar to that of the NBA, for example?
They are similar, and Tony East, for example, could give you the nitty-gritty of this better. It's not an area of expertise of mine, but the contracts and the outline of those contracts in general is quite similar, which is you have 4 years on your rookie deal, then you're able to be extended into that more lucrative second contract. Now, one thing that's very different, and we just saw Leah Boston sign it, and this comes with the new CBA, is this quote-unquote epic contract, exceptional performance and initial contract, I think it stands for, which basically is there's a new flood of money coming into the WNBA, and for players like Aaliyah and for players like Caitlin, although she's not there quite yet in terms of being eligible for it, she'll need to play another year. But you can fast forward into that second deal a year quicker. It was something I think really smart that the players in the league did, because if you were to look at things like Aaliyah Boston certainly deserves to be a player making $1 million a year like she now is. So it's a way for those players that were on rookie deals to not get stuck in the rookie deals just because of the timing of all of this. And so I thought that was a really good move. And listen, if you ask Caitlin, she'll be the first to tell you over and over, she wants her career to be here. She views Indy as a city that's, fairly comparable to where she grew up, and it's close-ish to family and friends. You can make the drive, and the organization has totally embraced her. So obviously in pro sports, you never can say anything with 100% certainty, but I think this has become very quickly a home for her, a place that she can imagine herself for the entirety of her career. When you draft a player, you have all sorts of advantages contractually to keep those players. Obviously, it's a decision that she'll be making, but right now, the Fever have her, certainly for the fourth year as well. And then she'll be deservedly very well rewarded with that new contract that comes around here very, very soon. So I think if you ask her what's plan A, it's to win a whole bunch of championships here and retire a member of the Indiana Fever. And I don't think you can overlook her relationship with Tyrese Halliburton either. You've got two of the league's top young point guards. They both play a very similar style of game. They're both friends. They bounce things off each other. In fact, I was just talking about that with Caitlin a couple of days ago, just the value of that friendship. And I think it's one that's very, very valuable. So, hopefully we're talking about those two in Indiana for 10, 15 or so years. And I think if everything goes right in both scenarios, that's where both players want to be.
Pat Boyland, the voice of the Fever, also a part of the Pacer radio networks on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It should be noted that some of the shows besides breaking records with Fever broadcast on ION would be anything Law and Order, Blue Bloods, Bones, Bull, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, FBI, Hawaii Five-0, Magnum PI, and these are the new ones, not the old ones, NCIS stuff, LA, New Orleans, and SWAT all can be seen along with the record breakers of the Fever on ION. Just so you're up to date, that's what the ION channel is all about right there. But a job well done out of you in those broadcasts. Great job.
Did you rattle those off the top of your head, or are you looking at those?
I'm looking at that, yeah. I didn't know.
Because for a second there, I was wildly impressed.
I should lie.
Once you got to Magnum PI, that's when I started realizing you were probably
I should have lied. Man, Pat, I appreciate you. We'll stay in touch over the course of the spring and the summertime and see what this season holds and talk some Pacers, I'm sure, as well. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Looking forward to it, John. Thank you.
Pat Boylan. Fever Wings, 7 o'clock tip time tomorrow night. Pregame coverage right here. That's John Nolan, right? 6:30? No, I'm sorry. Check. Is that IBC tomorrow? That 93 WIBC tomorrow night, 6:30. My bad. 7 o'clock is that tip time, the Fever and the Wings. Quick break, we'll come back. Jaylen Farmer, draft selection from the Colts, started his career, I believe, did he not, with the Florida Gators. Ended up in Kentucky. The pride of Covington, Georgia. Jaylen Farmer going to join us coming up at the top of the hour. Morgan Wallen tickets, airplane tickets. We'll give away that and more, so don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Hey, John here for Andy Moore, Buick GMC, 131st, State Road 37. That is in Fishers. Have you heard just how popular right now the Buick brand is? And right now, they've got great deals on SUVs. For example, the 2026 Enclave, great deals going on right now at Andy Moore Buick GMC. You can check it out, the Enclave, in different styles, something that's going to suit you. And you're going to find that inventory that is there right now with my friend Eric Wilson and Rob up there to make sure you roll off with a vehicle of your choice with the price tag that you love. Incentives to buy in the month of April with Buick SUVs just like the Enclave. You're going to find it Andy Moore Buick GMC. Also, the service after the sale, maintaining and raising the bar of life expectancy for the vehicle of your choice, in this case, Buick, the Enclave, or SUVs you're going to find with my friend Eric Wilson and Rob at Andy Moore Buick GMC. Take advantage today. Tell them I sent you, 131st State Road 37 in Fishers. Hey, never paint your house again. Make it Rhino Shield. That is ceramic coating specifically formulated for this unique climate. And if you've noticed that it's time to paint your house, just don't mess with it. Don't get up on a ladder and do dangerous things here. Choose from the over 1,100 colors of Rhino Shield and get that 25-year transferable warranty as well. And make your home, we're talking residential, maybe even a commercial building, make it look incredible and take advantage of this deal with me right now. That's 888 Rhino 41, 15% off the regular price of Rhino Shield if you mention my name. That's 15% in savings off the regular price with Rhino Shield by mentioning my name when you call 888 Rhino 41. That's rhinoshieldin.com. Residential and commercial. Don't paint, no vinyl. Go Rhino and never paint your house again. That's Rhino Shield.
The Ride with JMV.
Joey, have you ever been in a Turkish prison?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
How about number 30 on the text line right here? Airplane, the film, screening the 1980 comedic classic. May the 15th, Mira Old National Center. Got a pair of tickets for you right now. Number 30 on the text line at 317-239-1070. And Robert Hayes and Julie Haggerty, the stars of the film, will be there as well. That is the Mira Old National Center, May the 15th. Airplane, the screening of the film. 317-239-1070. Number 30 on the text line will go. Just one of the greatest comedies of all time in film, easily. And if you remember, Robert Hayes, the star of the show, was on with us maybe a couple of weeks back. Was spectacular. Number 30 text line. Make that thing happen right now. 317-239-1070. Now, speaking of events just like this, they're also coming up, I want to say in June, going to have a screening of Stand By Me, the film, the Rob Reiner film from 1986. And one of the stars of that, Corey Feldman, the actor, will join us on the show coming up tomorrow at 3:30, right? 3:30? Corey Feldman joins us coming up on the show tomorrow. Of course, where Legends Golf Club, the fan golf outing presented by Franciscan Health, is off and running tomorrow at 10:30. We will all be out there. Corey Feldman is a part of the show. That is coming up tomorrow. All right. Meantime, quick break. We'll come back. Jaylen Farmer was an offensive line selection by the Colts in this past weekend's draft. Round 4, 113 overall in the draft. Jaylen Farmer from Kentucky is going to join us coming up on the other side. And Morgan Wallen tickets, that is looming coming up at the 5 o'clock hour. You will want to listen to win, meaning don't go anywhere. The Hensley Legal Group Command Center. It happens. Hire Hensley. That's where we are. The 888 Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. That's where you're watching. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Fan golf outings tomorrow. Legends in Franklin. Corey Feldman, the actor's on the show. Not there live with us, but live on the show tomorrow. Gary Gerald tomorrow, too. Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager, a little bit earlier. Podcast 107.5 The Fan. .com. The shop in Carmel on Rangeline Road with this show coming up on Friday. The 500 gear debut as we enter the month of May with Alex and with BK. And Connor Daly is going to be a part of it coming up. I don't know if he's going to be there in time before 6 to get to my show, but he's going to be there to sign autographs. All that's coming up on Friday. So a busy rest of the week, to say the least. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, he is a new member of the Colts, round number 4. 113 overall out of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, at least collegiately, started at Florida, ended up at Kentucky, and has performed his way into the NFL draft as a member of the Colts. Jaylen Farmer's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, Jaylen, thank you for the time. How are you?
I'm doing good, boss. I appreciate you for having me.
Man, I appreciate you coming on. I want to go, if you don't mind, all the way back to the Senior Bowl, because I know that you were a part of that too. Did you notice that the Colts had a relative level of interest in you after your performance there?
Man, honestly, I would say for sure. I just really feel like, throughout that whole process, they were really detailed with like the questions that they were asking me and things like that. So I for sure felt that it was like some really good interest, from the coach.
It's funny. I always like to ask too, Jaylen, this question. With the Colts, was that the team you thought you would end up, or were maybe, and you don't have to name them if you don't want to, were there others that you thought maybe had a little bit more interest up until the point you were drafted this weekend?
Man, honestly, I was really just blessed throughout this whole process, with some of everybody. I was able to get a lot of interest from some of everybody, but when you got coaches like Coach Soprano, man, I just knew, for a fact, this is a guy who wants to coach me. I knew for a fact that this is a guy who's going to give me 1,000% each and every day. So,
yeah, you mentioned Tony Sperano Jr., obviously, with coaching up the offensive line of the Colts. With the name recognition right there, is that something as a collegiate offensive lineman, you knew of that, you knew of his prowess, and you knew what he has done as a coach at the NFL level with offensive linemen?
For sure, but really just coming to Indy, man, and sitting down and talking to him, it was just you hear about all the stories and things like that, from the tree that he comes from. But really just sitting down with him and just talking about and just seeing how energetic he is with this shit, it was just different. I'm like, damn, this is a guy who really loves ball. He loves his players, and you can most definitely just tell by his guys and the way that they play for him.
They say he's hardcore. Would you describe him as hardcore as a coach?
For sure. But hardcore as in you can just tell that he loves the game though. You know what I'm saying? Not hardcore as in an asshole, but hardcore as in he loves to coach ball. He wants his guys to be the best.
Well, yes, and here's the thing. You don't often anymore find dudes that want to be coached, and you're describing Tony Sperano Jr. as coaching you up hard. And there's some dudes that don't respond to that and don't really like it. Do you like being coached hard and specifically being coached like that?
It don't matter, honestly. I just feel I just want to be the best player, that I can be for my teammates and things like that. So if that's what I need to be one of the best players for my teammates, it is what it is.
It is Jaylen Farmer, the former Kentucky Wildcat, played in Gainesville with Florida as well to start out. He's from the state of Georgia. He joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So, Jaylen, I want to go right here. Specifically, we'll start with the things you believe you do at a high level right now. One of the reasons why you landed in the round number 4 with the Colts, what specifically do you believe you do well that translates immediately to the NFL?
Most importantly, I know for a fact that I'm a good teammate. I feel like it's something that, to be an offensive lineman, I feel like that's something that you have to be. I feel like what we do, we don't get all the cool stats. We only get the messed up ones, but You got to be a good teammate. I move people. You got to protect the quarterback, So, it's things like that.
All right. And on the other hand, what are some things where you can take the guidance of your position coach and your teammates that you need to work on that you believe you will in your rookie season?
Just getting better, throughout pass pro, run blocking and things like that. Coach, he for sure has a lot more deeper details,
Have you always been a very coachable player in your own mind?
Yeah, for sure. But I just feel like, throughout the years, I kind of just sat down and learned more, from being coached the way that's the way I was, from the different coaches that I had throughout, college and things like that, because you just kind of sit back and you realize everybody has like a different coaching style, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I will say something else. You stayed within the SEC, obviously starting in Florida and then finishing up in Kentucky. You're from the state of Georgia. That's also SEC country. And I don't know if you noticed or not, there were a number of Colts draft selections that came from the SEC. And it sounds like to me, and you're one of them, they were really looking for guys in this draft that had played a lot of high-level football. And they looked in the SEC and also the Big Ten, but was that something you noticed in the entire process of what they were looking for out of you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It don't get no better than the SEC, boss. I feel like that's damn near the closest thing to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, from just week in, week out, no matter what your record is, you're going to play some of the best players who are going to play on Sunday one day. You know what I'm saying? So, I just feel like it don't get no better than the SEC.
Oh, well, and this is Big Ten country right here as well too.
Right.
What about so is the SEC in your, and I know where you're going to go with this, and that's okay. I'm not going to get you in trouble with the listeners out there, but where's the SEC and the Big Ten in comparison right now, conference to conference, in your opinion?
We all got some really good players. That's all I'm going to say. We all got some really good players.
That is well done. Well done out. See, look at that. It's a learning experience with Jaylen Farmer, kind enough to join us here on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. So what's your schedule look like coming up? I'm assuming you're staked out in Georgia right now. I don't know if I should assume that, but I am assuming you are. What's your schedule look like as far as getting up here to Indy and getting on the ground running?
About just a whole lot of, just working out, trying my best to get back in the football shape, after doing all of like the combine prep and all those types of things. So we're just kind of getting back into it.
How much you know about the Colts in general here, Jaylen?
Y'all got some good ass coaches. Shit, you feel what I'm saying? It's a whole lot. Like Adrian James, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm gonna tell you what, Jaylen, we're looking for a group. We're looking for a group right now that can stir those echoes, because it's been in a kind of a holding pattern for a while. So you're looking to raise the game, and obviously the one thing I think about in terms of the offensive line is there are good teammates that you're going to have, and one is Q. In this case, I'm curious your thoughts on getting to become, as a rookie, Quentin Nelson and his teammate with the Colts in year number one.
Oh yeah, I feel like that was one of my biggest things. Just talking with like with our offensive line coach, I was just like, me being drafted here, like me just kind of being able to sit back and pick his brain. Like, he is one of the best guards in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? So me being able to be in the room with him each and every day, you know what I'm saying, just kind of seeing how he take notes, how he attack the days, you know what I'm saying, and just being able to see it, in person. So I feel like it's going to be, like, real cool and real, like, real big for my career.
And in closing, too, I'm assuming, Jaylen, that you kind of picture yourself as being at least a start of your career as a rookie, kind of a jack of all trades. Wherever you're needed on the offensive line, you're going to kind of feel comfortable in taking that role. Is that how you approach this as a rookie here?
For sure. I'm a team player. Wherever close they need me to be, I'm for sure there.
All right. Well, it's, again, Jaylen Farmer with us. He is a fourth-round selection. I should ask you this, but are you in Georgia right now? I assume that. Are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, are you Kentucky? Where are you? Can you tell me? All right, Kentucky. All right. So when you came to, are you a Kentucky basketball fan now, or are you still a basketball fan of something else?
I ain't really no real big basketball fan, honestly, boss.
It's all football all the time for you, is what you're thinking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I ain't gonna lie to you. Yeah, it was all ball for me.
Yeah, well, and that's probably one of the reasons why they felt compelled to bring you in the capacity in which they did. I should ask you this as well. Seth McGowan is a teammate, and he was also a draft selection by the Colts. How you feel about having a guy you played with in Lexington also coming in this particular draft class here in Indy?
Man, it's cool. Like, shit, man, Seth, that's a dog, man. Like, he a real beast, like, from the weight room to the field to the meeting room, somewhere everywhere. Like, he take everything serious. He don't play. So I really feel like just having a guy like him around me, here, it's gonna be like the same thing. Like him just kind of just keep me in check, like gonna have me working each and every day. You know what I'm saying?
You got it. That's Jaylen Farmer right there, and going to come in here with a teammate, going to get everything going here on this offensive line as a rookie. Speaks very highly regarding Quentin Nelson and Tony Sperano Jr. That was really good stuff a little bit earlier, what you said about your position coach. And it is good to know that there are still the younger generational dudes that like to get coached really hard, and that's somebody that's going to do that. Jaylen, I appreciate the time more than you know, and I'm sure we'll meet up at some point in the summertime during training camp.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Jaylen.
All right, no, thank you.
That's Jaylen Farmer on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. That's well done over there, James. You're on top of it. That is an incredibly unique personality. Two things that stood out that I loved, and I'll start right there. I'm going to start with him calling me boss every time. I like being called boss.
You're a fan of that?
I'm a big fan of being called boss. I was digging being called boss. But the quote that stands out was, they have good-ass coaches. I love that. I'm sorry. Where you have to hit the dump button multiple times, I like that. I don't know if anybody else down the hall, I don't care. That doesn't really matter.
It was 3 times.
It was 3 times.
3 times.
That was impressive. Seriously. I've always thought this, and I know that's kind of how you view radio. I always view that as a clear advantage that, for example, McAfee had. McAfee, they just say whatever they want. And I think we're right now in a world to where that is more of an understanding. And it may not be that way, 20, 30 years ago. And, maybe you think it's juvenile. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind it in terms of, overusing it or just using it because you can. But, if it kind of slides in there into your vocabulary and you're trying to describe something, right? That's how you normally kind of, I don't mind that. And it's different in terms of radio, too. And the FCC is just completely different to me, too. So something suddenly came up with Feldman, so he's X'd out for tomorrow. Boy, that was like quick, right? What was he, about 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 15 minutes on, and now he's back off again?
Something like that. We are trying to reschedule for next week.
Something suddenly came up. I'm bummed out by that. I was all fired up for Feldman tomorrow. What could possibly suddenly appear on your schedule that would be more important than a conversation right here? And a conversation that clearly you need, just like the one we just had with Jaylen Farmer. That's a bummer. So we'll push back Corey Feldman to sometime further down the road. That will bum me out. But you know what? It's a damn good day because I'm boss. Seriously, boss. I want to be called that all that boss. That was Jaylen Farmer, 4th-round selection by the Colts on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I love this. Hey, boss, are you going to ask Feldman how touring with Limp Bizkit was a couple of summers ago? Yes. I would if he hadn't bailed on the show tomorrow, man. God, I love being called boss. Caden Curry's tomorrow. Gary Gerald tomorrow. Mike Chappell. Caden Curry is tomorrow, though, right? Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, because I'm the one that scheduled that. I should know. But no Corey Feldman tomorrow now. So Matt Goins of AAA, the president of AAA, is asking me where we're going to be coming up on Friday, which I think that is one hell of a question, Matt, for you to ask. By the way, become a AAA member right now. Download the app to your phone, hit a button, boom, there you go. Open road coverage. Support wherever you're going, however you're feeling. AAA.com to find out more. But again, download AAA and the app to your smartphone and become a AAA member. So Matt Goins, who is the president of AAA, asked me where we're going to be coming up on Friday, right? So here's where we're going to be coming up on Friday. We're going to be at the shop in Carmel. Rangeline Road, right there in the midst of absolutely everything. And I don't know if I've said this enough. I am so incredibly impressed with Carmel. You know how much I would get done? If I lived in Hamilton County, I would get 0 done. Now, I don't know how much I get done living on the county line of Morgan and Johnson, specifically Morgan, but I would get nothing done if I lived anywhere near Carmel, Westfield, Noblesville, or Fishers. Nothing done. Love Carmel. We're going to be in Carmel at the shop, and they're going to, as we usher in the month of May, we're going to open up May with great deals on their Indy 500 gear. They have Indy 500 gear. I believe that they have some former JMV Sucks Carb Day T-shirts as well. We're going to have giveaways. They're going to serve hot dogs. You're going to have me, plus Connor Daly is going to join. I don't know if Connor Daly is going to be there before the end of the show, but he is going to be there signing autographs. I don't know if he's going to get there before I'm done, but Connor Daly is going to be there as well. This is going to be a fantastic time. So it's me and BK and Alex and my friends at the shop, but we're doing this in Carmel, Rangeline Road. That is coming up on Friday, which should be absolutely outstanding. Cannot wait. That is on Friday. So the shop in Carmel, that is Rangeline Road. And again, Connor Daly is going to be signing autographs up there. It is going to be outstanding. And all the other stuff, I probably should mention what else they're going to be giving away. They have a lot of giveaways going on, but certainly that is a destination in awesome Carmel. Love me some Carmel. JMV, there's a new shirt. Just call me boss. I do want to be boss. JMV, I love the conversation with Chad Buchanan a little bit earlier, but I may have just liked the Jaylen Farmer better. How many times did James have to hit the dump button? 3 times. That is a Colts rookie record.
That might be the most I've hit the dump button in a 10-minute period.
A Colts rookie record for sure. I love it. The dump button. Yeah, if you see Jalen one of these days, say, hey, yeah, the dump button 3 times. Is that the most ever in a single conversation?
That may be. It might be tied with one of them.
And see, I don't mind. He wasn't doing it purposely. He just was being conversational. And listen, I'm sorry, and this is to bosses or whomever. And you know me, I've had to write notes to the FCC an apology before, and I'll do it again if asked. But it is okay to be in your natural environment, to be who you are when you're on the radio. Tight-assed and buttoned up. It's just not me or not this show. If you need that, then you can. There are plenty of other places to go, but I don't mind it. again, if it's over the top, like with the guy from Spain, most recently, if you remember, I had to write an FCC apology letter because he came on, and I don't know if they asked for it, but it was kind of I think preventative maintenance, if you will, and I did. That stuff happens. That's what happens. It's live radio. If we half-ass it and tape this thing, then you're not going to get the same. It's different. It's always going to be different. So I didn't mind it. Jaylen Farmer, podcast at 1075thefan.com. 3 times. I believe he is the clubhouse leader right now on that. Chad Buchanan, Pacers general manager, a little bit earlier. We talked a variety of things, including his thoughts on there being just too many games in the NBA. That is something you may want to double back and hear. 1075thefan.com. Plus, a lot of you took from this, and I don't know, to me it was still non-specific, but a lot of you took the thought that maybe if the Colts, I checked in this case, the Pacers did not end up with the first overall selection, that maybe they would be more entertaining to a trade. Now, again, some of you have said that, would they do that at number 4? If they still get the 4th overall selection when they trade it? A lot of you heard what Chad had to say and thought maybe if they didn't get 1, they would trade for a more ready-made player. Interesting to say the least. Chad Buchanan, if you missed that, 1075thefan.com. Morgan Wallen tickets coming up here. Just a little bit, too. 239-1070. If you guys want to jump on board, you can. Text line's open as well, 317-239-1070. On the road tomorrow, on the road on Friday. We'll come back with that as well. The Hensley Legal Group Command Center is our location. It happens. Hire Hensley, AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hey, John here for the District Tap. You got 2 locations, Northside Clearwater Crossing and in downtown Indy. That is thedistricttap.com. Damn good food, happy hour specials, and more. And live entertainment if you need it at the District Tap. Again, on the Northside Clearwater Crossing and in downtown Indy. Anything going on downtown, that is your epicenter of fun right there. With TVs everywhere, you won't miss a moment. Live entertainment, private rooms for a party maybe you're throwing, and catering for those live aspects of your life that may be on the inbound given graduation. That is the District Tap. The 2 locations, Clearwater Crossing on the north side and in downtown Indy. To find out more, that is thedistricttap.com. Hey, Hey, is it okay for me to talk now? Hey, Whopper, can you stop and get me to Premier Deck Coating? 317-696-4071. Get Ron in that free quote today at 317-696-4071. Virtually any color. Repels moisture, adds scratch resistance. See, it just looks fantastic on your outdoor living space with that deck. Maybe a pergola, maybe a fence, maybe it's an outbuilding. It is perfect. I'm going to have Ron and the gang out. They're going to do, I'm going to go brown and white, because you can really invent anything you want with Premier Deck Coating. It makes it awesome. And the curb appeal, incredible. Plus, with a 10-year warranty, you're going to save so much money. Get that free quote today from Ron at 317-696-4071. 317-696-4071. That's PremierDeckCoating.com.
The Ride with JMV.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find?
Picture me?
No. The definition of the word idiot, which you f***ing are.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
James over there, as Tim just mentioned, that interview was awesome with Jaylen Farmer, especially on the stream. James was having to earn his money. That's well done. Jaylen Farmer, 4th-round selection by the Colts. I loved it. I'm apologizing to nobody. I stinking love it. Podcast 1075thefan.com. You guys are all responding to it too, which is, I think, makes it even better, to be quite honest with you. JMV, Jim McCann, Southern California, writes this: with the LA Kings already eliminated, I get to watch stress-free Stanley Cup playoff hockey. So, boss, how are you and Blake holding up? Yeah, we get Stanley Cup playoff hockey later on tonight. I know a lot of you probably don't care. But also keep in mind, I don't care if you don't care. And I have a microphone, and too bad. Canadians and Lightning, 7 o'clock, ESPN2 later on tonight. That series is even at 2 games apiece. Game 5 this evening in Tampa. Problematic for the Habs because they were up 2-0. Had an opportunity on a power play to maybe add a goal and to end it, and they left the door open. And Brandon Hagel, whom I do not like, and the Lightning pushed it open and knocked it down and to even up the series. All right. Game 5 tonight in Tampa. Canadians and Lightning. So you know that I'm getting hockey savvy when I say Habs instead of Canadians, right? Hey, the Penguins stayed alive the other night. Same 2 teams, Penguins and Flyers, with Philly up 3-2. They host later on tonight. That's 7:30 on TNT. And the Mammoth and the Golden Knights, they are tied at 2 games apiece. That Game 5 is in Vegas tonight at 10 o'clock. That is also on TNT. So thank you, Jim McCann, for that reference. I like it. JMV, I'm not going to lie. It kind of sounds like that if it's not number 1, the Pacers are going to trade that for an established starter. Just my opinion here, considering his emphasis on winning right now. Chad Buchanan, the Pacer general manager, did join us a little bit earlier. He didn't say it in those terms. However, he did mention a 2-year window. And I think you look at the clock, if you will, and that sounds nerdy, my bad. But the clock of Pascal Siakam and where he is in that is the 2-year window of win now. So I would tend to agree with that. Thank you. JMV, when will you be at Mystic Waters again? This is Bill, and I live in Madison County. The Really Rottens are still waiting on their bar restock. Hold on a second now. Is that the Really Rottens? Because I know we probably, whoever won has to tell me so I can get it for you. Because, Bill, if you were the one that won and I carried the clanking bottles of Heaven Hill Distillery around the back of my truck for days, actually, I'm sorry, months, let me know so I can make sure I fulfill our obligation as a winner, Bill. Now, I don't know when we're going to be. Actually, I do know. At least as of right now, it's Labor Day weekend. That is what our tradition is, to go up there, Bill, and do the JMV takeover live from Mystic Waters. So as of right now, it is coming up in Labor Day weekend. Now, I will tell you this. We're going to have a live show with the JMV takeover. That is coming up now in less than a month. So the night before the 500, and hopefully I was looking for this. I don't think Leah has sent this yet, unless I missed it. But we have a Lot 4 location. I don't know if she sent this or not, but the Lot 4 location. And we went to Bronze Fun Time Campers, and Austin, myself, and Doug Wiggin, and Dev, the engineer, selected an RV that would fit perfectly in this spot. It is outstanding. If you're looking for a trailer or an RV, Bronze Fun Time Campers on Pendleton Pike, that is the location. They have everything that you need, and you can have a fantastic time and just really start making family memories with a camper of your own from Bronze on Pendleton Pike. But we will be there the entire race weekend, and the JMV takeover is on that Saturday night on B105.7, and we're going to be, as opposed to the Coke lot a year ago, we are going to be in Lot 4. And the reason behind that is I wanted a little bit more accessibility. And as enjoyable as it was last year, and it was, but as enjoyable as it was in the Coke lot, it was difficult for people to get in. You have to have a wristband, and they're pretty hardcore about it, and we want everybody to be able to get to us. So, lot number 4, thanks to Speedway president and IndyCar president Doug Bowles, who put those wheels into motion for us, lot number 4 is going to be our brand new location. I think Leah upstairs knows exactly where that is going to be. And I'll find that out and pass that along. But that's going to be as fun and as accessible as it's ever been the night before the 500 JMV takeover. And thank you to Austin Broad and Bronze Fun Time Campers for that. Gutshot Greg writes this. Yeah, boss, please don't move to Hamilton County. I don't know. I'd probably have to pass a test or two to get there. But I do love it. I can understand why everybody loves Carmel. There's a lot to do. I'd get nothing done. JMV, Hey, boss man, I heard you were doing the mini this year. Is that true? There is zero way I'm doing the mini. As I've told you in the past, as much as I run, and I love running in basketball, I hate running because that form of running is punishment. No, it's punishment. Whenever I had to run distances, it was always a form of punishment. Hey, John, you got to go out and run because you have a D in math. Hey, John, you have to go out and run because you were late to practice. Hey, John, you have to go out and run because you were talking in class and disturbing the rest that were trying to learn, even though they weren't trying to learn a damn thing. Hey, John, did you guys get caught drinking? You got to run for that. You got to run. Every time I ran, it was a form of punishment. So, of course, and I don't begrudge anybody that's doing it. I'm glad that you do it. The mini is a fun event, and I know a lot of people out there are doing it for a variety of reasons, whether you're getting into shape or you're doing it to honor somebody, whatever. And I agree. But just to me, that form of running has always been a punishment. So that's how I view it. But no, congrats to everybody that's doing the mini, that finishes the mini. I don't have a drink or a beer or a cocktail right now. I'll just do it with my bottle of what I drink here, and you guys always wonder what it is. My bottle of the JMV very special beverage. I'll raise my bottle to you, and congratulations for the chafing and maybe the chafed nipples that you're going to get out of that. But I completely understand why you do it. Just not me. I love sprinting the floor, getting in the pass, all that in basketball, but it is not something I want to do in terms of distance running, even as enjoyable as that event is. JMV, this is from the shop. Might have you set up on our patio outside on Friday, so encourage people to honk at you. That is a tremendous idea. As you know, I think that this is and should be a new way to gauge just how many people are listening to the show. We did that a couple of weeks ago with incredible success. So, yeah, Rains Line Road, the shop in Carmel coming up on Friday. We are going to open up the month of May with Brian and Alex and the shop and their Indy 500 gear that they're going to have for you. More gear, hot dogs, stuff to give away. Connor Daly's going to be a part of it too. All coming up on Friday. So, no, I would encourage you to have us set up on the patio so we can find out exactly who is listening there in Carmel and Hamilton County to the show as they drive by and honk. To me, that is much more accurate than whatever database bullcrap I have to deal with in terms of radio today. The accuracy is going to be there. So I completely agree. That's the shop in Carmel coming up on Friday. 3 until 6. Connor Daly is going to be there. It's going to be a great show, no doubt about that. Hey, we've got the fan golf outing coming up tomorrow, presented by Franciscan Health. It is sold out, even though I think I ended up getting a couple of stragglers in a little bit earlier today. Because, James, I got a little bit of influence. So I've influenced those that had said it was sold out to maybe put some friends of the show in.
Pulling some strings, are you?
Pulling some strings is exactly what I'm doing. So it all starts with the fan morning show coming up tomorrow morning. Their normal time, 7 until 10 a.m. with Jeff and James and Kevin. That starts 7 until 10 a.m. They'll be broadcasting live. The shotgun start for the outing begins at 10:30. Now, Kevin Bowen is going to then go someplace in a tee box at the Legends, and he is going to have drive contests with everybody, long drive contests with everybody. I think you can choose to take his drive or take your own. I am going to be staked out in the first tee box with the basketball goal. So I have the basketball goal from the Ducks people and my friend Carlton that's going to be set up in the back of the truck. the basketball goal with your chance to shoot against me. Plus, James, I'm bringing this. I'm bringing my own speakers.
Your own speakers?
So have you ever heard of the speaker brand called Harbinger?
Yes.
I'm bringing Harbinger speakers.
There you go.
Now, Blake has Harbinger speakers, and he is allowing his dad to take those. I could probably easily ask somebody here, but I thought maybe in this case it'd just be easy to bring his.
Is it pronounced Harbinger or is it Harbinger?
Harbinger? Maybe
it might be
is.
Harbinger.
I mean, tit for tat, James. This is dangerous Wednesday territory.
That's fair.
Is it Harbinger?
I've already had to hit the dump button 3 times.
Well,
Let's do it for 4.
I had to tit for tat Eddie a little bit earlier today about VJ Edcombe. So, and I still pronounced that wrong, probably. That's true. Harbinger is how you pronounce it. Those are big-time brand name speakers, aren't they? They spend a lot on those, I think.
I'm looking at them right now online, and I'm seeing them for $400, $300, depending on the size. So they're not cheap.
He rocks the house, baby, with his Harbingers, and he's allowing his dad to take them. So that is coming us because you know me, when I'm doing the golf outing, the music has to be cranked up very loud, and we'll be doing that coming up tomorrow too. Jim writes this, JMV, I just listened to your segment with Jaylen Farmer on YouTube. Great conversation. We like him. Go Jaylen Farmer. Please get him back on during the camp. There is zero doubt that he's going to join us during camp. Zero. We are a tremendous fan as well. All right, 3 NBA games coming up later on tonight. I mentioned the Stanley Cup playoff schedule. Magic, Pistons, Raptors, Cavaliers, Rockets, Lakers. The Magic with a 3-1 opportunity to bounce the 1 seed in round number 1. That would be the toilet. That would be hilarious. That chance is coming up at 7. That's Amazon Prime later on tonight. The Raptors and the Cavaliers. That is an awful series that is tied at 2 games apiece. Game 5, 7:30 tonight. That is in Cleveland. And the Rockets and the Lakers. No Kevin Durant for the Rockets as they try to stay alive on the road in L.A. They get the Lakers, and it looks like that Austin Reeves is optimistic about his return to the Laker lineup later on tonight. The Lakers up 3-1 as they try to close out the Rockets in round number 1 later on this evening. I should also mention the red-hot Cincinnati Reds. If you watched them yesterday, Ellie De La Cruz, 3 of 4, a 2-run home run. First player, I think, since 1900 to have at least 10 home runs, this many home runs and stolen bases through the first month of the season through April. Spencer Steer had a home run. That was a 2-run shot, his 5th of the season, too. Chase Burns is now 3-1 on the season, 7-2 over the Rockies. Same 2 teams coming up later on this evening. That again, Reds and Rockies. An update on the Cubs and Padres coming up, too. Cardinals and Pirates later on tonight at 6:40. That and more for you. Oh, yeah, by the way, too, Indians and Redbirds in Memphis. That's a doubleheader this afternoon, ongoing in International League play with the Indianapolis Indians. Quick break, we'll come back. Pat Boylan a little bit earlier. General Manager Chad Buchanan of the Pacers also on the show. Kevin Bowen was a part of the show as well, and we talked to Jaylen Farmer. 4th-round selection by the Colts. Podcast with each, 1075thefan.com. Gary Gerald on the show tomorrow. Caden Curry, Colts draft selection on the show from Center Grove High School. Also coming up on tomorrow, Live at the Legends, our fan golf outing presented by Franciscan Health coming at you. We'll be live in Franklin with Ted Bishop and Legends. That's the Legends Golf Club coming up tomorrow, 3 o'clock. 3 until 6 per usual at the fan golf outing. That is coming up tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. Morgan Wallen tickets. That is coming up in a couple of minutes. You guys better get active on that. A week from Friday, Lucas Oil Stadium. Morgan Wallen in town. Your chance to win those tickets coming up. The Hensley Legal Group Command Center. It happens. Hire Hensley. Stick around if you want to win. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Hey, John here for LD Smith Plumbing and Drains at 317-927-7186. I brought this up with the rain that we had, the heavy rain we had. Have you noticed that there have been amounts of water ponding around your home? The one thing you don't want to have right now is clogged drains of any kind. Make sure you are clog free and call the experts. The greatness that is Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing and Drains at 317-927-7186. In fact, for any plumbing situation, you call LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. But also keep this in mind. Sump pumps, battery backup, so important this time of year with the heavy rainfall, with the ponding of water. Again, something you don't want is an inaccurate working sump pump or battery backup. Great deals on both going on right now at LD Smith Plumbing and Drains. 317-927-7186. The best anything you have plumbing need-wise, Lance and his local team can help. Log on and check them out right now. That's ldsmithplumbing.com. Hey, Johnny, with a great idea if you're thinking about having better health, getting into better shape, losing weight that you've tried to, and maybe you've started things and haven't finished it. Here's what I have for you. GLP-1 weight loss injections at Premier Weight Loss with their two locations, Northside, 317-643-4444, or in Fishers at 317-567-9100. Thomas and the gang have you covered. Thomas and Lauren and Samantha, the best in the business, not only to get started. Now, it's not just taking the shot, if you will. It is to see the expedited results in your favor. You do the work alongside. You modify your diet. You do that work, you're going to see even greater results. Results that will make you so incredibly happy. I'm almost 2 years in right now and have not felt better. Really never felt better thanks to Premier Weight Loss. You can have the same feeling. I also should tell you that Thomas and Premier Weight Loss, they've got some JMV Sucks shirts coming up here in the month of May. I have approved the JMV Sucks cottage cheese t-shirts from Premier Weight Loss, which look absolutely outstanding. That's coming up for you as well in the month of May, thanks to my friends at Premier Weight Loss. So go ahead and get started. Embark on your very own weight loss journey today. And if you're looking for something, cosmetically speaking, Botox, skin tightening, and the electric toning machines, they have that ready, willing, and able for you at Premier Weight Loss, 317-643-4444. Tell them I sent you today. If you have any questions, I will be sure to answer them as well. Check it out online. That's pwlnd.com.
The Ride with JMV.
But I'm a genetic freak, and I'm not normal.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
So a week from Friday, Lucas Oil Stadium, Morgan Wallen will be performing live. Let's go with the text line. We did number 40. We can go 50 today, can't we? Number 50 on the text line at 317-239-1070 right now. Number 50. A pair of tickets to see Morgan Wallen, and I want to see this bad boy get active here. Get active. Morgan Wallen, number 50 text line. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity, even if you're on a bit of a delay, if you're listening via other means, maybe the stream or the app. It'll give you more of a puncher's chance at this. Number 50 on the text line, 317-239-1070. Wow, that has got some major movement right there. That is well done. Number 50 is going. James, I don't know if we've ever seen it go like this.
It is exploding in there right now.
Explosive, as James just put it. Incredibly true.
We might be able to go like number 100 or something, and they might fill that up.
The reason why I went with that number is I think it gives people more of an opportunity that are on a delay. Because clearly, if you're listening to 93.5 or 107.5 The Fan, and you know I like to make fun of it all the time, not you're listening, but make fun of sometimes the signals aren't what they need to be. But if you're listening, you have an edge because you hear it first. So if we go number 50 in this case, so maybe we go 100 tomorrow just to see what the hell happens.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're at 80 right now, according to my screen.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I just said that 2 minutes ago. There's yet another way that you can tell we've got a tremendous listenership right now. This and the car honking is much more accurate in our listenership than these bullcrap numbers we get monthly from a bunch of dorks. Dorks and their numbers. I would take this accuracy, plus this accuracy and, the response that we get and the results that we deliver, which we're always at this station going to deliver for you. Always. Know that to be true. Congrats to whomever wins that. We'll go 100 coming up tomorrow and Friday for you, too. This date a year ago. Do you remember? Giannis and the father of Tyrese Halliburton got into a little verbal. You guys remember that? Nose to nose after the Bucks were eliminated in the playoffs. And I believe, didn't John Halliburton, didn't he have to take a bit of a hiatus from the postseason because of that, too?
He missed a couple games for
sure. He missed like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Then when he came back, didn't they stick him in a suite instead of near the court?
Yeah. Overtime final, 119-118. Glorious. As I mentioned to Chad Buchanan a little bit earlier, this postseason is so missing the Pacers, and what they added last year was tremendous. Just tremendous. A little AAA influence coming up on Friday, too. Goins, get out there, man. I do. Yeah, this is great, Chris. I would definitely have to have a significant way to get home. Chris says JMV has to do a shot of larceny every time someone drives by and yells out their window, JMV sucks, on Friday.
You would not make it through the show.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That would inspire many people. I dig it. Yeah, listen to Chad Buchanan and see what you think. I've had multiple listeners today and Pacer fans suggest that they felt when we talked about, I asked him a question about if you get 1 through 4, would you consider trading? And how a lot of you felt that he maybe thought they would consider trading if they didn't land number 1. Now, I would also tell you that the misdirections and the smoke screening that would go on is immense. And why not utilize this? Because we clearly get the most honks and clearly also have a tremendous listenership to want to go see Morgan Wallen. So why would you not utilize this as a misdirection if you're Chad Buchanan? I would. You would too. Chad Buchanan, podcast 1075thefan.com. He was really good a little bit earlier today. Hey, I mentioned this Cubs update, end of 6, Cubs 4, Padres 3, out in San Diego. What is that in German?
Are you asking me what
Anchorman.
San Diego? Oh.
A whale's bat.
I thought you were asking me what San Diego was in German.
No, isn't San Diego from Anchorman? Was it a reference?
San Diego? Yeah, that's
San Diego.
It's an Anchorman reference
Wales,
for sure. Yeah.
Well done, James. Hey, go back and check out Jaylen Farmer, the Colts. That was a 3 dumb button interview, and we loved every second of it, James. Well done. Chad Buchanan, Kevin Bowen, as well as Pat Boyland. Podcast 1075thefan.com. See you at Legends coming up tomorrow. I'll be there early around 9 a.m. Let's hoop it up and play some golf at Legends in Franklin tomorrow.